Hello and welcome to the opening round of Season 4 of the Touring Pro Series Virtual Clio Series, Round 1 from Curitiba.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a new season of the Virtual Clio Series. After a rather brief rebrand in the last season, we're back to the Virtual Clio Series title, and we are here for the opening rounds of the championship here at Curitiba in Brazil. I'm Scott Woodwiss, and alongside me tonight is TPS admin and all-round good guy in many ways, Ryan Callan.
Oh, thank you, Scott. That's very nice. If you want a great introduction to this series. We are here for the Curitiba for the round 1 of the 5th season of the Clios, but the 4th season under its Virtual Clio Series name. Of course, last season we did have the Tomos of Cold Clio Series, didn't we, Scott? That was a fantastic success and a real big boost for the TPS brand. But we return. We're on GameStop Car Extreme now, or 2013, whichever you prefer to brand it. It's gone through so many different iterations now, Scott, I can't keep track. But anyway, we're on a beautiful new sim with the 2013 cars for the full season now, Scott, rather than switching halfway through like we did last season in the Tomos or Cold Clear Series. And 11 races to come. It's going to be exciting.
Absolutely, and let's take a look at the calendar, see exactly what races we're going to be running. Of course, we are sharing a calendar, if anyone wasn't aware, with the other championship that we're running on GameStop Car Extreme, which is the Virtual Mini Challenge. And the 11 race calendar looks like this. So, of course, we start, here, as we did with the minis in Curitiba. Then we'll head, of course, next week across to Zolder for the second round of the minis. Then we'll head to Oran Park, a now unfortunately defunct circuit in Australia, but still a good one in Australian motorsport.
That's the beauty of sim racing, isn't it, Scott?
Absolutely. Effectively, any circuits that don't exist, even historic or ones that just don't exist full stop, we can bring them back through the magic of sim racing. Effectively, we can still bring Oran Park and get some fantastic racing. We then head to Poznan, a very, obviously looking for the word now, but it's a very...
technical circuit.
Yeah, it's a staple of TPS with our front-wheel drive series. Let's say that, especially with the Clios. We go to them for round 4, then to our second visit to Brazil at Cascavel, to Thruxton. That's the one that everyone wants to win, especially in the Clios. That it seems to be that's the equivalent of Monaco and F1 or the Indy 500. With TPS Clios, we have Thruxton. That's the centerpiece in the championship.
Yes, it is.
Then we go to Road Atlanta for our first of 2 races over in America. We're back to South America for our third visit to Jacarapagua. And then we finish off with Verano in Italy, Nogaro in France. I think that's the first time we've ever used Nogaro, I think, in TPS. It's our debut there.
Yes, it will be. Yes, indeed.
It will be. And then, as we have done before with the Virtual Minis, we saw a dramatic season finale with the Minis, at least last season. Mid-Ohio Sports Car course, the Clios get to run their first time on the Minis, Clios, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Callan, because you know a little bit more than I do.
Absolutely correct, yeah.
First time with that. And that basically, we run from April all the way to September, so that is, practically, if I do the maths in my head, that's about 5 months worth of racing across the sun, with a bit of a break from the end of June to the beginning of August. So we get the nice July to just relax and hopefully enjoy the, fingers crossed, sunshine across the winter.
It's far too hot to be racing in July, and it's a nice summer feast of sim racing. We are now into the qualifying session here, halfway through the qualifying session, so we're into the meaty end of the session, Scott. So if you want to take us in there,
absolutely. And the man who's currently top of the times, but only just, is that man there, Alexander Lauritsen, as he hops 3 wheels into turn 1, following one of the puppy racing machines, and he's very loose. He's being challenged at the moment. He's 5,000 seconds behind by all people, Chris Hack. Now, Chris Hack is part of the THR stable. He's in the THR Orange team this season, alongside Rasmus Salo. New to the team, absolutely. First time with THR after a long time with Core. And of course, Lauritsen is teaming up with Chris Butcher, who's ever a stalwart of THR Red, and Butcher's actually third. So look at that, but actually THR 1, 2, 3, 4. So it seems as though, Ryan, that with their precision now as the pitcher in the Clios, they are once again the dominant force. Because look at that, first to fourth, and they're going faster even still. So pretty good work so far from these guys, as you'd expect.
Yeah, they're doing fantastically. I mean, first to fourth is a fantastic result currently. Lauritsen leading Hack, Butcher and Salo. Salo, remember, has won races in Clios. So has Butcher, so has Lauritsen. However, Butcher has not won a race in these 2013 Clios. Hack has never won a race in the Touring Pro Series. He's been very, very close several times. In fact, his closest probably came was the end of the last Clio season at Knock Hill under the Thomas O'Cole Clio Series, where he was challenging for the win there. But it seems like it's a matter of time before Hack gets himself that win, and we may see him kick on from there, because he's been knocking on the door for so long. And we see that, don't we? We saw with Strana and Tveit, they knock on the door for so long, and then suddenly once they get that first win, boom, forward, and they start making progress and become regular winners.
It opens the floodgates, shall we say?
Exactly.
And the intriguing thing is you look at the rock-solid consistency and just how close all four of these THR drivers are, because yes, three of them are going purple at the moment on their lap times, but look at the lap times. Effectively, a fraction over a tenth of a second separates all four of them. It just shows effectively how metronomic these guys are, and how finite they are in just combing through the setup, finding exactly just a couple of tenths here and there, a few hundredths. And it's incredible that even the likes of Hack and Salo, how much they've developed over the winter as being part of THR drivers, to now to be able to be in this position where effectively they are on the same pace as Lauritsen and Butcher. That's incredibly impressive how THR have done that, especially with the drivers such as Toby Davis. Ryan does appear to have muted his mic, but we can't hear him at the moment. He's possibly having...
I do apologise for that. A good old speech about Toby Davis there. Yeah, we have lost Toby Davis from the series. Remember, former champion in Series 3. And the champions in the Touring Pro Series in the Clio as follows. We had Vaughan in Season 1, Levesque in Season 2, William Levesque, and we had Toby Davis in Season 3, all THR drivers. Last season, of course, we had Jack Keithley in the Thomas O'Cole Clio Series. He won the championship, that fantastic, huge championship. Over 100 drivers took part in that championship, Scott, which is an incredible amount. And so that's the only season that THR have not won the Clio Championship. So they're looking forward, obviously looking to bounce back here. Lauritsen, Hack and Butcher and Salo, all very, very close. Look at that. There's less than just over a 10 between all four of them, all in the same team. And it wouldn't be out of the question for people like Ely or Silver to get up there as well, because I think Ely has gone quicker than a 23.9 earlier on, and Hack did a 23.6 in practice. So look for those times to improve.
And also, if we look down the grid, of course, to see, it's incredible to see that drivers such as Tom Ely and also Diogo Silva, they work very strong in the minis, and of course now there comes the Clios, and they're continuing that form coming forward. So it's great to see drivers who Diogo's not been around for too much. Of course, he's done the Virtual Carrera Cup, and now he's doing the minis as well. But it's great to see they're coming on form, especially the resurgence of Tom Ely, because he was quite a front runner before, slipped off a little bit in the past few championships, but now he's right back up there, 5th quickest so far in qualifying. It's great to see him back up there.
It is, and he's gradually working his way back into some kind of race-winning form, I feel, because he was absent, obviously, for a while from the Touring Pro Series, from the middle of Thomas O'Cole Clio Series, really, up until the VMC race last Tuesday. And he did pretty well there as well, fighting up there for a podium, almost got there. So looking forward to seeing how he progresses once you get back in the rhythm. You can't just... and Diogo Silva decides that's not a good lap and wrecks his car against the inside wall. You can't just come into a series in the Touring Pro Series and say, right, boom, I'm going to be at the front, that's what happens. I mean, very, very few people can do that. Maybe only Stoffel Van Dorn and Jack Keithley in the past have done that. And those are special talents. People... Other mere mortals like ourselves, Scott, they actually have to get back in the rhythm, in the practice, in the racecraft, in the consistency, knowing other drivers around, because there's new drivers around now. And Ely has raced against Hack before, but not a huge amount as well. He'll race against Salo very much. There's people like Ayres and Diogo Silva in there now. And speaking of Diogo Silva, you were saying how much of how well he's done. He did very, very well in the Virtual Carrera Cup, remember, as well. Led the series after the first round until penalties were applied, and was right up there. But he's missing that small X factor, you feel, to be able to be a race winner.
Yeah, well, I think you might want to take a look at Tom Ely, because as far as I could see, he was a 10th up in the first sector. See if he's actually improved towards he comes across the split. He's lost a couple of tenths, so not exactly as strong as he was in that second sector as compared to the 4 THR boys. Butcher's coming across the line. He's gone pole. Incredible laps. He's gone 33,000, and Hack is going even quicker. He's
2 tenths
a quarter
up.
of a second.
Unbelievable. I said he did a
incredible
0.6, remember? And
That's right.
It's a whole 3/10 to play with here. Just needs a sensible final corner. Looks like it's a bit wide. He's getting it back in. You see apex there a bit, Scott. What's he going to do?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. He's going to try and get a toe from one of the machines in front. That's one of the purple Mad Cape cars. Cross line he comes, and he does go pole. Chris Hack, what a great lap, 1:23.776. He's about a tenth and a half clear, almost, of his teammate Chris Butcher. What a sensational lap that was, effectively. We said he was threatening. The 23.6 is what he did in practice. Not exactly as quick, but still only a tenth off. And Chris Hack, he's got to be overjoyed with that pole position in the season opener. Great job.
And I think that's everybody now finished as well. So he has definitely got that pole position. Congratulations to him. Just a reminder to everybody, if you want to follow along with more detailed telemetry, you can go to touringproseries.com/live timing, or just click the live timing button just above our broadcast that you're watching right now if you're on the touringproseries.com page, and it will show you the live races, live telemetry there. You can follow along. It's very colourful, very pretty, isn't it? And lots of pretty colours. We like pretty colours, don't we, Scott?
Yes, we do. I think that brings out the inner child in all of us, I think, with that one.
What are you trying to say?
Let's say we've all still got a bit of youthfulness, even though we're... I'm not saying... I was about to say advancing in our years, but that sounds like we're being old. It's like that's the wrong thing to say, I think, in that instance.
29 next month, Scott. Almost a big 3-0.
Well, I'm 24 this year. I'm 24 this year, so I'm advancing towards my mid-20s, so I'm starting to get old as well.
Oh, you're over the hill, mate. Over the hill. 21 down under. That is, by the way, so we can get back to the subject here. That is the first pole position for Chris Hack in his Touring Pro Series career.
Wow, congratulations.
So that is big congratulations to him. He's never had a fastest lap, Chris Hack. He's had 8 pole positions. That is his first 8 podium positions, should I say. But that's his first pole position in the Touring Pro Series. That shows how difficult it is in the Touring Pro Series, because Hack has been around for a while. He's been a front runner, especially in the Clios, for a while. I mean, even in the Porsches, he was a fantastic front runner. This is his 57th attempt at a qualifying session, and that's his first pole position. So congratulations to him.
And it's incredible just with the race development that some drivers have when they join a top team. And we've seen drivers, especially people like John Monroe, he raced at Precision and at THR. And now with Chris Hack, the race of development that some of these drivers ride is incredible. How they go, and it shows just in terms of the structure of the team and how they work and how methodical they are in going through setups and all the practice and testing they go through. Drivers like Monroe and Hack, when they push forwards and go into a top team, how quickly they develop, and the difference between how they raced a previous season with a lesser team, not to disrespect to any of the teams they've driven before because they're all brilliant, but going forward to a team like Precision and THR, and just the immediate change of pace that they have as soon as they get out on track, it is quite remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, obviously THR, they generally only take in fast drivers. So these drivers have got talent already. You know, they've got the potential to go fast. They just need that little extra oomph, that little extra X factor to make them into, you know, like Hack, into pole positions, into race winners. And I think Hack, you know, has been right there, hasn't he? You know, for core racing, for ice cold, has been right there all the time. Never quite done it. And going to THR, you get probably a slightly better setup, a few key ideas. He'll practice around even faster people than he's been around before, and that just gives you that extra tenth of a second. And 1/10 of a second is not very much, is it? But in the Touring Pro Series, it means going from 5th to 1st.
Especially in a car like the Clios and the Minis, effectively, because where setup work is few and far between. Also, one driver, if you want to scroll through the standings so we can find exactly where he's ended up, because, of course, so those who will know that Alexander Lauritsen is competing this season, fortunately, in the VW Scirocco R Cup this season, of course. He's actually another driver who's making a transition from sim racing to real track racing. But we've got a driver who we're very honoured to have in our ranks, who'll be racing against both in this championship and in real life. And it's this man on track. It is a friend of Kelvin van der Linde, of course, who is, we wish the best of luck in the ADAC GT Masters this year at the wheel of a magnificent Audi R8 GT3. But this is his good friend and fellow South African racer. We say a big welcome to Jordan Pepper, because he is in the Mad Cape purple colours. He qualified 19th, and I had a bit of a chat with him before the race weekend started. He's saying he's still getting used to the sim because he and Kelvin used to race in R Factor before. Of course, he's racing against Lauritsen. That's going to be a great challenge going forwards in them. In terms of, if you're not sure who Jordan Pepper is, of course, look, I've got to manage to get a bit of a feeling as to the experience he's had before in real racing. He's been karting since he was about 4 years old, apparently. But he did, in terms of the driver database I've seen on the internet, he records his last 4 years in karting which includes, if I'm correct, if I bring it up on the screen, I think it may have disappeared because I've taken it off. But he was a northern, I think it was like the Rock Series category in the northern division in South Africa in 2009, and he was third in the South African VW Championship and also third in the VW Scirocco R Cup, as well as being the junior champion as well. So we've got it's great that we've got
plenty
another
of info there for Jordan Pepper.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
he's been quite there. He's been right there, hasn't he? Not quite been a championship winner, but definitely has some talent going forward.
He does, and it's great that we've got another driver who is part of real racing, but is always remembering that the sim racing roots and actually using it as a tool to prepare. So, of course, he is going to another front-wheel drive series. Of course, we don't run the VW Scirocco's, unfortunately, but the Clios, I think, are very similar, and they're a good championship that you can at least learn some skills from front-wheel drive from.
At least it's the same instinct, isn't it? Because it's front-wheel drive. It's a generally low-powered car, and it's quite a bulky car, just like the Scirocco's as well. So, I mean, it probably, in terms of keeping his instinct sharp, is probably a really good tool, actually, going forward. I don't know if we might be able to get a word with Jordan Pepper after the race, but it's a privilege that we've got of being able to have another driver from real race and motorsport as part of our Touring Pro Series. It just shows, how prestigious it is to race here. And, I mean, it shows as well, he can't, even if he's good in real life, he can't just show up and be good here because he's in 19th. I'm sure he will improve as the season goes on. There's no doubt about that. He's got the talent to do so, and he just needs to get the experience. But you can't just turn up and be quick, and that's fantastic stuff. I mean, we've got some different weights on the cars this season as well.
Yeah, take us through that. Take us through that, because we have got that, of course, on the car. Take us through what's different.
Yeah, if you look on the front of this car, for example, Chris Hunt, you see the number 82 on the left-hand side. That's the car number. Identify the car going around the track. We've got plus 60 there on the right-hand side. What the heck is plus 60? Okay, this season in the touring in the Virtual Clio Series, we've got something different. People are able to customize their car's performance somewhat. You can choose the power and the power to weight and the weight of the car. Now, of course, there are limits to that. You can go from 1,110 kilos up to 1,107 kilos as the weight of the car. So just think of 1,110 as 0. You can go up to plus 60 above that. If you go up to plus 60 above that, you get some more power to make up for the fact that you've got make up the fact you've got more weight. However, you obviously, when you go up by weight, you lose braking, you lose tyre wear as well, because it's a heavier car, and you lose the acceleration part of things in general as well. So it's a trade-off between the two weights. So THR have gone for full power but full weight, plus 60 kilos on the front of the car. They got full power in the car also. Remember, 60 is the maximum you can go to. THR, I've looked at 1, 2, 3, 4, which you could say, oh well, obviously that's 60 kilos. That's that more power is helping them. But obviously THR are usually from the team anyway, so that's difficult to say it that way. And just behind them is Tommy with just 4 kilos on his car, because he's awkward. The only person who didn't go with a 10 kilo step. But never mind. You've got Thomas Ayerson in behind, who's got 40 kilos on his car. So you've got a different mix throughout the field. You basically have THR with full weight and GT Competizione, who's quick look at them as well. Rodriguez, who just got qualified silver, in fact, actually missed that. He's got full weight also as well, and full power. Whereas you've got Puppy Racing, they've got the lowest weight in general. So, and the rest of the field is pretty mixed. So that's what we'll look out for this season. So if you see the plus 60 on the side on the front of the car, you know exactly what that is. So that's how I explain it. I hope everyone understands that.
Yep, absolutely. So let's quickly run through the grid as we got just literally by surname. So Hack and Butcher on the front row, Lauritz and Salo in row 2, row 3 is Ely and Erzin, row 4 is Rodriguez and Silva, then Powell and Cardozo on row 5, then Walker and Waring on row 6, Matty Orban and Oscar Harvick on row 7, Jimmy Hughes and Luis Fernandez on row 8, and I think as the final few cars come through, we can only cover the top 16. So, you've been waiting for it. This is the 4th season of the Virtual Clio Series. We're getting ready for the start here. The first round of the championship, the first 17 laps here at Curitiba. Revs are going to rise, and we're getting set for the first race. Lights are up, lights are out, and we are racing. Lots of tyre smoke and ways they'll get away off the line, and a decent launch from the front row from Chris Hack. He may well lead them down towards turn 1 to get that whole shot. And looking, he's got the inside covered, as here come both Butcher and Larritt side by side, and Solar's going to hang back. It is going to be THR 1, 2, 3, 4 into turn 1 as they get to compress through the right-hander for the first time as they filter through. It looks as though for the moment at least, Ryan, they've all got through, miracle of miracles, relatively unscathed.
Yeah, it's been fantastic actually, because in the virtual mini championship as well, challenge as well, we had a fantastic start to the race, really pretty clean. No people getting taken out. I can't see anybody in the background off the track. So fantastic racing for these guys in the first race of the season. All the adrenaline's pumping into the first corner. Oh, and they've managed to get away with it. Oh, Fernandez just missed there in the background there, almost going off the track. But apart from that, we've got a great start from THR with 1, 2, 3, 4 flying formation.
So, it is Hack leading from pole as we can scroll the standing ground and see exactly who is where in the front. Thank you very much. So it's Hack leading, then Larritt's in second, Butcher third, and Solid fourth, pretty much as they were off the grid. Rodriguez in seventh. What a start from the two GT Competizione guys. They're up there, up 2 spots.
He's gone backwards again. He did that in Virtual Mini Challenge.
He has indeed. So Cardozo's 7th. In fact, is that all 3 of the GT? It is. So GT Competizione, brilliant start from Cardozo, in fact. He's up to 7th place with Puppy Racing. It's literally almost formation flying here. We've got THR 1, 2, 3, 4. GT Competizione 5, 6, 7. Then we've got the Puppy Racing guys 8th and 9th. That's pretty good. Thomas Erzen rounding out the top 10, but it may not stay that much for longer because here comes Ely looking to the outside of Cardozo, forcing the Portuguese to go defensive as they come back down towards turn 1 under brakes. Let's see if it's going to be last of the late breakers. Very bumpy braking zone here at Curitiba, and Cardozo holds on for the moment. Ely slots back in as, one of the Option Sim Racing guys goes up in the background. It's Matty Orban. I think you'll find it's the grey part of the circuit, my friend, rather than the green stuff. and behind them, it is, as I've used this phrase before, it's 2x2 hurrah in the mid pack as they come down. And I couldn't quite see exactly who that might have been, but lots of tyre smoke under brakes.
Well,
it's fast and frantic. Exactly, we can't see anything. Imagine what they can see.
Oh, lots of grass beans spat up also there as well on the exit. I think that's Rodriguez pulling away from Silva. Rodriguez showed great pace, didn't he, the Virtual Mini Challenge, and he challenging Butcher in the first race.
And look at that, that's Waring trying to go around the outside of Ely. In fact, I think he's done it. It's also somebody else going pretty wide in the middle at the hairpin. Now in the middle of, I think that's Erzen trying to make a look up the inside of Ely.
Don't do it there, that's scary.
Yeah.
I was side by side through here with Jimmy Hughes last week, and that was scary stuff. He also crashed there in race 1, having to lift off behind one of the slower cars. And so that's a really scary place. It might seem to you, they're just right around the track. It's all very nice. But these cars right on the edge, trust me, a little bit of mistake and you're straight off the track, or you understeer and 3 or 4 cars go past. It's really intense racing. At the front still though, it's Hack leading.
Yep, Hack has got the lead, but only by a 10th of a second, so the top 3 have really closed up. In fact, it could be a change, as we see now Larrittson just defending the inside from his teammate, looking from the rear view. And that's one thing that's new for this season as well. Of course, Ryan, bigger rear wings on these Clios, the biggest I've ever seen on a hatchback. I'm pretty sure we've stolen these from a V8 supercar, haven't we, rather than a hatchback?
They're much more aggressive this season as well. Some of the difference actually we talked about earlier. Last season we had in the stock engine, and this season they've got 60 more brake horsepower than we had in the Tomaso Colt Clio, so they're much quicker. From 211 brake horsepower to 270. That's for greater differentiation between the Virtual Mini Challenge and the Clio Series. There's only 3 brake horsepower difference before. Obviously the Clios are a bit better in terms of their chassis, so they're still quicker, but there is much more difference here. And now Larrittson is challenging Hack into that scary section I'm talking about.
Don't do it, and Larrittson is brave, puts it on the inside, and Hack decides he's wiser of it, and it's discretion is the better part of valour, and rather than try and brave it 2x2 through the S's, he's going to say, no, I'm going to slot back, I'll run a little bit wide onto the grass whilst I do on the exit, but Hack will just sit back here, and that's quite important because that's the best way to do it, I think. Obviously, if you rather than go side by side and risk going wide on the exit of the S's, sit back, get a bit of a tow, even though in the Clios the aero effect isn't as strong as the Minis, and see what you can get on the run down towards turn 1. That's a much safer strategy than risking throwing it off onto the grass and the exit of the S's, isn't it, Ryan?
Absolutely. You're just going to keep hold a bit of station here, but I was just thinking about the different level, not of I guess I can say experience, but although Hack is not exactly inexperienced, the different level of success in the Tour Pro Series against these guys have had. Hack is in the middle of a sandwich of drivers who know how to win. Lauritsen has 15 wins in the Tour Pro Series. Butcher has 22. Hack has none. So this will show throughout the race, I feel. I mean, eventually, people have to break through and win their first race, but it's so difficult. He's in the middle of two teammates who are among the most successful in Tour de France history.
Robert Powell has had to visit the pits for whatever particular reason, but he's down at the back of the field in 29th. A quick update, Jordan Pepper, our racing driver from the Carrera Cup, the Scirocco Cup I should say, apologies for that, I think he would certainly hope to be in the Carrera Cup at some point in the future, if he is, but he's back in 18th, and oh my goodness, David Nannon has made a mess of the front of that Smile racing car. I'm not sure what on earth he's done to that. It certainly looked a bit like a, there might be a smiley on the side, but that thing's certainly not smiling on the front end, is it, for sure?
No, it's more like frown power at the moment.
At the moment. Andy van der Velde is battling with Kevin Angwin at the moment, the Airstream cars. I have to admit, Ben Richards has done it again. Is it Ben or Matt Richards? Whichever one of the two brothers, I forget.
Ben Richards, yeah.
Ben Richards. Again, once again, doing a fantastic job with these Airstream cars. They look the absolute business, especially with the little Union Jack in the alternate colours on the rear wing. Absolutely the bee's knees, these Airstream cars are, and they always are, to be fair.
Yes, they are. He always does a great job. Of course, he really should do a great job because he is a designer for Jaguar in real life.
Absolutely.
So, that's the sort of thing that comes very naturally to him. He does clay model design for Jaguar. So, congratulations to him also, by the way. He started that new job in April. Oh, when Hackerson's gone off the track, and he missed the opening round of the VMC. This is his debut in the Virtual Clio Series after doing VMC last season and this season as well, although, as I can say, he missed the first race. So he's looking for some action here. Nick Hughes returned to the Touring Pro Series as well after internet issues that kept him out for quite a while. He's having difficulty seeing at the moment. He's behind Jonathan Ockerford. And we've got Luis Fernandez in 20th. Luis Fernandez again not showing the pace of the GT Competizione guys, just like in the mini race.
It's intriguing you mentioned Nick Hughes because I was speaking to Mad Cape, of course, including Jordan, of course, speaking to Jimmy Hughes, and he said he was quite happy that his brother was back in the championship because he did say that for him, in terms of the car, it feels good. He drove for the first time this weekend, just looking for a tidy start, but of course, he's taken a similar approach to the minis, and with Nick, he hasn't had much time to practice a great deal, but he does enjoy driving with him, and he does feel that when they're racing together in the same championship and when they help each other out, they're quite strong, and it helps to push each other on, and that's what you want, especially not only with teammates but with siblings, as Hack has actually retaken the lead as well. We've been talking, so Hack back into the lead of the race ahead of Larrickson and Butcher as we look at that one. But to finish my point, the Butcher getting very sideways, and also what's intriguing, just as point, and it was that puppy racing car. Edie's gone off at turn 1. I saw him go across the grass. He's now on the inside, I'm sure.
And
Wearing
just drove right to the side of
that's your bad. He's been hit by Oscar Hardwick.
Shepard, sorry, that's Hardwick.
It was Hardwick.
Taking the brunt of that as well.
Can we get a replay of that?
There? Let's get a replay of this.
Would it happen all in front?
This is all bound from point of view. There is.
They're both
the racing guys gone off. Both of them. Look. That's before Jonathan Waring. He drove right across the front.
And unfortunately, it just left. Unfortunately, their third car of Oscar Hardwick with absolutely nowhere to go. If we can skip ahead, if we look at both, if we can, to Elian, even there was contact between the pair of them. I definitely saw Eli at least going across the grass on the inside at turn 1. So whatever happened between both of them, unless I was seeing things.
I think they may have separate incidents. Look.
Because there's a bit of a gap and there's a huge lock-up in front.
He
lost the back end. Where he lost I see what's happened here. Waring lost the back end. That's the guy going across the grass. He went across wide to avoidance. And as he rejoined.
We're on board with Waring at the moment. This is Waring. This is replay of Waring. Sorry to rewind it. And they had Rodriguez up ahead. Look in front. That's
he locked it up as well.
They both locked up. Look. Both did their own mistakes. That is incredible.
How bizarre.
And back to the live action now. I think Waring's got past it. Oh, it's side by side.
He's doing it again.
So Waring's struggling on the brakes into that first turn, and Silver's gone past them both now as well. And Solo's been off the
track. Solo!
What's happened to Solo? That's it, it's out.
No, that's engine. That's an engine problem. Has he blown too much on the downshift, you reckon? Because that can happen with these Clios. I think he's put too many revs through that 2-litre engine, and he's blown it on the downshift.
Well, let's see if you can have a listen, viewers, because we can't hear. But that looks, it'll sound as well like boom. And that's what it'll sound like to you viewers. We can't hear it, unfortunately, as commentators. But that is the end of Sal's race. And that was scary stuff because people were coming through, flying through at full speed, and almost took them out.
So that now promotes Peter Rodriguez up to 4th and back again. And they've changed around again for THR boys because that means Larrickson's back in front and Butcher's looking racing. He's finally decided to wake up in this battle. And someone's gone off in the midfield. I think that's David Nannon again. I thought that someone had gone spearing off, but quite a unique pit entry with Curitiba, where it kind of almost literally bypasses the whole corner. You go straight across the middle in the infield back into pit lane. But
it's a horrible pit entry. Thankfully, I've never really had to use it in any of this, but it is one of those where you constantly overshoot it.
And here comes Butcher. Butcher up the inside with a late braking move. He's going to get it stopped. How on earth did Butcher get that one stopped? That was an incredible late braking move up into second place, and gutsy stuff. It seems as though that Butcher's had enough of sitting back in third place and said, right, if I'm going to actually get a chance to win a championship, I'm going to have to get a move on and wake myself up, and he's done that. And look at how much they've dropped Peter Rodriguez and the three guys behind them of Ely, Waring and Erzen, who's up there ahead of Silver. So
just noting Silver's
stuff.
Obviously made a mistake because he's dropped back behind these three again.
Well, Silver was involved in the incident, wasn't he, with Waring, and also at some point he was up there around that as well. He was trying to take advantage. I think he was, yeah.
Definitely. And obviously Waring's taken off the front of his car at some point as well, so his car looks like another scene from Mad Max. Thomas Erzen in behind. And
goodness.
Cardozo has had a huge accident, and it has glitched the timing as well at the same time, but he's had a huge accident.
Apparently
so that's the end of Cardozo's race. So he was going quite well, but that's not the case anymore.
Yeah, and what's intriguing now is if you look back to the front, and Hacker's dropped back ever so slightly. So, I mean, obviously these guys are running maximum weight, so could it be that Hack's not used to the heavy weight, or is it just the fact that he may have, as a result of that, burnt up his tyres? I mean, why is he dropping back at this instant?
Well, it could be a couple of things. He could have made a small error, and with that small error that costs you half a second, and as you may have noticed, half a second is quite a lot in these cars at the moment. It could be that Lauritsen has just turned up the wick. It could be Butcher just turned up the wick. It could be Hack just doesn't have the pace. There's several options at play here. We'll have to see really over the next couple of laps, see what happens, because those two up ahead are battling, and Hack has closed the gap by a 10. Except we probably thought a bit more than that. He's got the pace. So what a situation as we go along. Butcher now down the inside of Lauritsen. He takes the lead of the race. Like you said, Scott, you called it exactly. Butcher on the move.
Yeah, Butcher deciding I want to lead this race from the front, and that's the best way to do so. So Ely now in 5th as they once again head down towards the hairpin. And Lauritsen, it's going to be an interesting dynamic, isn't it, between these two guys? Because, of course, THR, while they do like to help each other out, they don't mind a bit of an inter-team battle, do they? And they're certainly not afraid to get their elbows out when battling amongst each other.
Well, they may as well, because they're 7 seconds clear at the moment, which is a big gap, actually. 7 seconds is huge after just 9 laps, almost a second a lap. That's almost unheard of in Clio. So they may as well battle because they've got plenty of margin to do so. So I believe this big gap has really helped the race, actually, because we saw in the Virtual Mini Challenge that in the first race, Campfield and Patrick didn't battle at all, and as a result, didn't get any camera time either, because it just went 1-2 to the end of the race. There was no pass or anything like that. Whereas these guys are really going at it hammer and tongs. And I think that gap back to Rodriguez is helping that in that regard. And Hack looks like he doesn't have the pace. Looks like, I think you were correct in the first place, Matt's the tyre wear is coming into effect here for Chris, because he is dropping back just ever so slowly, just a few tenths a lap.
Also, what's intriguing as well, just looking back to the battle for 4th, is that Rodriguez is being caught by Tommy Lee at the moment for 4th and 5th, and they're dropping Andrew Rowe. And of course, now past that would be because
but some drivers have been saying that their tyre wear is very high. They're really struggling with it.
And also, what's intriguing, of course, is now Waring's under attack from Erzen. Now, obviously, missing that front bumper run, that's going to be affecting his front end grip, of course, because while these cars don't have as much of an aero effect as the Minis do, losing your front bumper means you lose the front splitter, and that has a massive effect, especially. Of course, the lightweight car isn't going to have too much of an effect, but even so, without a front splitter, it is noticeable, and you do notice the lack of front end grip.
Absolutely, I would say probably it's not a huge deal. It doesn't help at all. In these Clios, they do generate a little bit of downforce for you at the front, unlike the Minis. But actually, in theory, if you take off the Mini front bumper, you actually go faster because the Mini front bumper generates a little bit of lift. Whereas in these, it's the other way around. They do generate a bit of downforce. So, it will be harming a little bit. It will not harm him a huge amount. As you can see, he can still press on pretty hard, but it won't be helping him in any way. It's not helping his lap times anyway. And I'm very impressed by Thomas Erzen, the Slovenian. He's having probably his best run that I've seen in a field that's full of the top drivers. In 6th place at the moment, as we see now, Ely has caught Rodriguez. He's caught him hand over fist, in fact, actually. Rodriguez has lost almost 2 seconds to the leader in the past couple of laps. And he's off the track, and he's really struggling.
lost the black stuff and got back on. And I did see that Ely was starting to line him up just towards the S's, so obviously finding it is, if you look at the list of retirements, we lost Miguel Cardoso after that big accident, as now we see just there, Rodriguez moving one way then the other, looking for a daring outside pass. Ely feeling he has to go to the inside to prevent the Portuguese driver from making a move. But that is Puppy Racing up into 4th place. Sure, they'll be rubbing their hands back in the pit lane. But,
well, they won't be rubbing their hands in the Hardwick garage, because Hardwick was a victim of Waring's very, very poor rejoin, which he will undoubtedly, I would say, be in trouble with the stewards for that. So Hardwick was a DNF caused by, I would presume, by that particular incident. So that's a shame for him. The other driver who was involved in that, Matty Orban, is still rotating there in 14th place and having a good battle with Ockerkind and Cervix. Let's jump back to that, in fact, actually. The two leaders are pretty much aligned astern, not battling too much at the moment. Waring is still all over the back of Thomas Erzen currently, and Erzen's gone too deep. Oh! So did Waring, and hit the back of Thomas Erzen, and that's actually cost Waring in the end. It's always the way, isn't it? The guy in front makes a mistake, and you make a mistake as a result, and it's you who loses out in the end. So De Carvalho is leading Walker. So he'll be pleased with that, De Carvalho. He's the fastest of the Mad Cape drivers in this session. Jimmy Hughes had a very strong VMC event. We've got Diogo Silva 11th. There's Matt Richards in 12th. A very late
Jordan Pepper.
Yeah, Jordan Pepper. And Jordan Pepper's going past him. In fact, actually, down the straight they come. There's three
wide. The 3 wide, also includes Pepper and Richards, and Pepper actually sticks to the inside. Up in 12th, if he can get it stopped. And they're almost a little bit sideways, and now that's also allowed Matty Orban through. Of course, they're both sans the front bumper, but Matt Richards really has lost out of all that. He's been shuffled down to 3 spots from 12th to 15th, and saying, well, come on, boys, give me a chance.
Oh, Cervic's out as well. We're just going to jump back to this battle that was involving Cervic, and he's out. So, kind of a... Oh,
and Pepper's gone wide!
Off the road, I think...
That's not Ockerklin.
I think Ockerklin hit him, because I saw a flash of... There we go. Ockerklin must have hit him. Let's have a replay.
And someone went off in the background. That was lag. Yeah, there was a bit of contact. Couldn't get it stopped, and that just allowed Orban and Richards to go, see you boys, and up into back what there was, 12th and 13th place. So I'm sure Jordan won't really appreciate that from Jonathan, but at least he was courteous enough to give the place back.
Yeah, but the attitude you have as a driver there is, well, you should have done it in the first place.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, it doesn't help you move too much. It helps a little bit more than if the person just carries on blatantly, but it doesn't really improve your move too much.
So, obviously the mid-pack, we're looking at Ben Haxon having a great scrap with Kevin Angwin and Andy Vandervelde.
There's that Powell in behind there isn't actually for position. He's actually a lap down on these guys, never mind the leaders. So even though he's just behind these guys, he's not actually in a battle with them.
And again, Angwin thinking about going side by side, but as we've seen with the minis, that's not a smart thing to do. Also Dave Simmons as well. Dave Simmons, I think, not a name I recognise personally from TPS too much. That's a bit of lag. And
oh yeah, we're on the replay the whole time.
Well,
but now back to live action.
Yeah, and Lauritsen, of course, still been kept. They've switched around again at the THR boys. And I was going to ask in this situation, we talked about teammates battling. Of course, you've had it many times, of course, at Walk Racing, battling with the likes of, obviously with the new teammates you have in VMC, and of course with drivers like Peter Dweevlar. Mm-hmm. In terms, from a mental point of view, is this mind games between each other, or is it just purely just having fun? For a driver's mental standpoint, what goes through your head at this point when you're battling with your teammate?
The first thing you think is don't hit him. That's really
obviously that's a given.
That's the very first thing you're thinking. You're thinking, right, make it clean, and you don't push. You're not. There are certain tactics you can use with other drivers. Who you think, I can give him a little nudge here and give him a little nudge there. You rough him up a little bit sometimes. You're not very charitable, should I say. And, it's a little bit naughty, but it's legal. And this isn't a tickling contest, as Butcher goes past Lauritsen once again. Fantastic battle this is, by the way. So you're looking to do things a little bit cleaner than before. You won't use a little nudge here, a little nudge there. You will leave, an extra half a car width's room on the outside. But in general, you're battling just as you would normally. In fact, actually, you find yourself, if your teammate is a little bit naughty towards you when you've been charitable towards them, you get more annoyed than if it was somebody who's not your teammate. So there's more calm there, but the potential for more anger at the other end. So there's less of a middle ground. But
does that not cause a bit of, obviously, with battling over time? Does that not cause a bit of an atmosphere in the pit, back in the pits? Does it not cause atmosphere between drivers? Of course, as long as you keep it civil and you don't take each other off, there shouldn't be a problem. But sometimes with good battling, it can change things.
you generally find teammates they're quite apologetic to each other if something goes wrong. Oh, I'm sorry I did this or I did that, and it's generally okay. Tensions do boil over sometimes in teams. We've seen it in THR before with Toby and William and Robert and Chris. It usually just involving Levesque, actually, to be honest, without victimising him too much. Lauritsen now going to run down the inside of Butcher. But in teams I've been in, never had a problem at all. I've very rarely been in teams actually anyway, because as the admin, I try to stay quite neutral, and I just do Wolf Racing a bit of a favour, really driving BMC. Now, however, we know the famous Kielov Rietveld incident, don't we, Scott, in the V8 supercars, where tensions really did boil over.
Yeah, they really did. It was not a pretty sight. As again, Butcher's going to try and throw it back up the inside into turn number 4, but couldn't quite get it done. This is a great scrap. This is, I guess, really, it's a scenario we've used many times. Of course, now it's happened in teammate battles, but I hate to use it, but I'm going to use it again. It's more reminiscent of Hamilton and Rosberg once again with the battles they've had this season so far. It's great to see two teammates fighting, but fighting cleanly. Fighting.
Because they're so far ahead of the field, it's kind of the same analogy, I like it.
It is in some ways. I hate to use it, but I think it's been used too many times. Butcher, careful! He's getting impatient. We just didn't expect Lauritsen to be lifted off so much in the first part of the essay, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't deliberate.
No, sometimes you just carry a bit too much speed in, and in those situations, an experienced driver knows. It's a funny thing to say, but you know how to hit the other person. You know how to hit them without upsetting them. Some drivers will they don't know exactly what part of the car to hit, and as a result, half the time they'll spin the other driver. As now Butcher back down the inside, we've got to swap for the lead 3 times in 3 laps, and who can he get down the inside this time? Penultimate lap also as well. So will that mean Butcher too deep? Lauritsen back for his score.
And he might get the cut back on the exit at turn 3 there, and he has done. He pushed him wide. This is sensational racing. These guys are the class of the field. They have dropped Chris Hack now to 3.3 seconds, and also Tommy Lee's pulled away from his teammate Andrew Waring, and he's got him within his sights. So he's only about 2.9 seconds away. But these two
quicker than leaders
have been fantastic
all race. Since that mistake, he's been quicker than the leaders. Sorry to interrupt, but he's been much quicker than the leaders all race. Actually, the gap come down for about 10 seconds. It was at one point for him after that mistake. It's now down to 6. So look out for him, race 2.
Back down towards the hairpin again. It's incredible how much tyre smoke comes off these things, especially on the exit of the corners. You thought that wouldn't be doing the tyre wear any favours, but I don't think these guys really are too bothered about it. They come back down towards the S's once again for the penultimate time. Butcher now has the advantage this time, but you just know coming onto the pit straight they are going to change places once again, because Lauritsen will have that run and the drive he needs off the final corner to put him onto the pit straight to possibly give him track position going into the start of the final lap. They head around the long radius right hand that's practically 180 degrees, slightly banked onto the pit straight, and this time, you notice, Ryan, Lauritsen's not that close behind to get advantage of the slipstream. As far as I'm aware, unless he goes last of the late breakers, he won't be making a dive up the inside.
It's going to be close. Lauritsen has a little bit of a look just to make Chris, just distract Chris a little bit. Another tactic as well. You use distraction with your teammates and you do an actual lunge.
The common tactic.
And then we got some great exit there from Butcher. Look at that beautiful exit. And all he has to do now is hold around the rest of the lap. He will hold his win because there's nowhere to pass apart from the hairpin, and Lauritsen won't be close enough. He's only 2 corners away from the hairpin.
Butcher will know that he got a great run, which effectively they came across the line to start the penultimate lap, literally almost level in a dead heat, because the time was literally 0.0. We've lost Scott Servick and also Andy van der Velde due to suspension problems, so we're down to 22 cars left in the field on this final lap. Chris Hack is still back in 3rd place. Looks like he will hold on to a podium place in his first race, I believe. I think it's his first race for THR, so he will hold on for the moment. Tommy looks like he'll get 4th. Thomas Erzin with a very well-deserved top 5, kept ahead of Andrew Waring, with Peter Rodriguez, Ryan Walker with a very well-deserved 8th, Javier Carvalho and Jimmy Hughes rounding up the top 10. As a brief mention, also Jordan Pepper looks like he will round up 14th, as Jonathan Osserklint will also get 12th. But coming to the final corner, these two have been the class of the field. Some fantastic battles. Even though Hack was on pole position for the start, he has dropped back, hasn't held the ultimate pace. Chris Butcher once again in the hunt for another championship. He's starting it in the best possible way. It's going to be a THR Red 1-2. Butcher takes the first win of the season in the Virtual Clio Series. ahead of Lauritsen by half a second. And look at the rate that Tom Eady closed in. Hack comes third, and Eady closed it into just a second between the two of them across the line. So incredible pace. And as you said, Ryan, one to watch out for in race 2 if he can get a good qualifying to get in amongst those THR guys, because we wonder what Sala could have done if he hadn't retired.
A good start is needed from him because that's the second event in a row where he's not had a good start. So that's something he needs to work on going forward. And Waring beat Erzen to the line. Look, heartbreak for Erzen. Almost got that
by
top
10th
five.
of a second.
Just missed out.
Just a 10th of a second. Rodriguez will get 7th. Ryan Walker with an impressive 8th. Then Javier de Carvalho and Jimmy Hughes getting 2 top 10 finishes then for Madkit. 2 cars in the top 10. Matty Orban will get 11th for Optimum Alpha. Lindroth and Osserklin at 12th for Optimum Beta. Diego Silva dropped back after the great start he and Pepe Rodriguez had. He's down to 13th after his problems. Jordan Pepper in his first race for the Clios up in 14th. Pretty respectable since he hasn't really driven game stock car before and is mostly used R-Factor, even though it is the same engine, G-motor engine they use, because Wrightson Studio do enhance it, of course. Effectively, it is a lot R-Factor, but better, pretty much, in many ways.
It is. But R-Factor 1.5, you could say.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt Richards 15th in his in one of the independent team cars. After he was for Aerostream, of course, wanted to race at last minute, as we were chuckling about before the broadcast. Kevin Angwin 16th ahead of Dave Simmons. Good run for him, and I believe one of his first races for TPS. 17th place for him. Ben Haxon 18th, Daniel Beck 19th, and in the Nick Hughes in the Madcap White Machine rounding out the top 20. So not a bad start to the season, Ryan. Some good racing, but Butcher again, strong start to the season, but it all depends whether or not he can carry it on.
Well, that looks ominous, doesn't it, really, from THR, I would say, going forward. Remember, THR are the most successful team in Touring Pro Series history, the most successful team in the Clio history also as well. That's the 5th win of Chris Butcher's Virtual Clio Series career, and is the 23rd of his whole Touring Pro Series career. So he's totting up the podiums and the wins as he goes along. As I think that was Lauritsen's 37th podium as well. So we're looking at those two drivers. Like I was saying, wasn't I? How the experience and the know-how of how to win tells there. And Butcher is now he's still 3rd in the all-time Touring Pro Series win list.
Should we just call you Stato from now on? Because you seem to pull out all sorts of facts from nowhere. I think it's quite impressive.
It's not from nowhere. In fact, actually, I'm going to do a little plug. If you go to touringproseries.com/rank, everybody can see every driver's current ELO rating, and you can also see how many wins, podiums, pole positions, fastest laps, and DNFs and races everybody has had. So that's a really, really interesting page. You can sort by wins. You sort by each column. If you can't find a certain driver, just it's in a browser, so you just press Control F, which brings up your search function, and you type in the name of the person, and you can see them on the ranks there. So it's really, really easy to use.
Of course,
and we're looking forward to using that as well. If a set of Corsa, by the way, Scott, is something that we can, is a successful platform we can use in sim racing going forward in 2014, then we will see an all new, massively improved ELO ranking system later this year, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Ryan Callan is obviously a walking encyclopedia of a TPS anyway, because he is a TPS admin and practically he's servicing it 24/7 in many ways. So effectively, you kind of know almost everything that goes on around here, don't you, really?
I do indeed. I have my finger in many pies, many TPS pies, and they're all very tasty.
Excellent stuff. Well, what we'll do is we'll take a very short break just to give a quick plug to our sponsors, to our very kind forum hosts, our friends over at Inside Sim Racing. Give a quick plug to them. And more analysis, of course, from Race 1. Looking forward, of course, to Race 2. Chris Butcher, perfect start to the season. Can he do it again in Race 2? Join me and Ryan in a couple of minutes, and we'll find out.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Hello and welcome back to the first round of the Virtual Clio Series. We've seen race 1 where Chris Butcher took the spoils. Chris Hack was on pole position, finished third, while Lauritsen finished second in that race. But it's been Easter weekend, of course. Happy Easter to everybody. Easter Monday today, and what better way than to spend your time watching a bit of sim racing? But what have you been up to this weekend, Scott? You've been gallivanting about to Snetterton, I believe.
I have my local circuit, Snetterton. Of course, I'm not a Norfolk boy. Of course, I just live here. I'm originally from Peterborough, but enough about that. But yes, I was with also my good friends and colleagues over at Downforce UK Radio, myself and Jake Sanson. Also, female Ginetta Junior Champion or Ginetta Junior Racer, Sarah Moore, was over doing our first ever live race day, where we covered some of the fantastic BRSCC championships. And we have to say thank you to the BRSCC for allowing us to go ahead and broadcast literally from the pit lane. So that's not something that Radio Le Mans do, or Radio 5 Live for any matter. We literally stood on the pit wall. Jake mainly broadcasted from an iPad, but with a bit of wind cheater kind of material to help cancel any wind noise, and it was fantastic. We got to cover 4 Caterham championships, and if you guys haven't seen Caterham racing live at a circuit, I implore you to go and watch it, because it is sensational racing from start to finish. There's so much slipstreaming and through wide racing, and the quality of the racing and driving is just unbelievable. It's so fantastic for a level of championship. So we saw the road sports, track sports, super sports, and the Superlight R300s. We also saw a bit of tin top racing. We saw the BRSCC Fiesta Championship, classes A, B, and D in one race, and the large field of Class C cars, which was all the previous generation Ford Fiesta STs. And also at the Fiesta Juniors, we saw 1 or 2 potential future racers, future touring car racers going forwards, 14 to 17-year-olds. It's a series that used to be T cars, in fact, but that's now become the Fiesta Junior Championship. And one name I can definitely point out who's going to be a star of the future in our eyes is Rob Cox. Look out for that name. He's part of WDE Sports in the Fiesta Juniors, and do go ahead and watch him, because he won the first 2 races at Silverstone. He won the first race at Snetterton, then had some problems where he just disappeared from the lead and obviously had an off somewhere. So he's definitely leading the championship and a great one to look for. Also had the X-Cool Open Sports Car Series, so I think you probably like that in some ways, Callan. It's been much like a mini kind of multi-class prototype series. We had everything from Ligiers and Jades down to little global GT lights having a battle. It was fantastic battling all the way. And also,
what's the future for you guys in terms of that? Looking forward, if you give it a little bit of tidbit information, go on, Scott.
Well, all I'll say is that the BRSCC, that was a trial run to see what we could do, possibly if there's anything going forwards. I can't really say too much, of course, by Jake's request and Jake's wishes, of course. I don't want to say too much, as it's still very much in the pipeline.
Jake's not listening.
He may be.
If you
may be.
Put your fingers in your ears.
Of course, it's all in good faith. Of course, he's currently busy with our Motorsport Monday program over at Downforce UK. But of course, if he does listen back, of course, I apologise if I say anything I shouldn't have done. But all I'll say is, effectively, off the back of that, BRSCC were impressed with us. So the potential's there maybe to do some more stuff. As exactly what that might be, I can't really say, and we don't really know. But if you guys do want to check out everything, I'm going to give a small plug. Apologies, Ryan, but I want to give a plug because we are going to try and get a bit of advertising for TPS to get you a bit more publicity and exposure for us guys here at TPS. If you guys want to get involved, to have a listen to everything that we covered, it was very entertaining, a lot of a laugh, and everything. We got loads of interviews with drivers, series organisers, lots of stuff going on, plenty of music and adverts played as well. Head to www.downforce-radio.co.uk, or if you head to the Spreaker channel and just go to Spreaker.com and search Downforce UK. You can listen to all the parts. We had in total over 1,000 listeners across all of our race coverage, which is fantastic. So thank you so much for everyone, if you happen to be watching, for doing it. And of course, I am currently in the process of also continuing to host a podcast called The Racing Game. Of course, Ryan was my very first interview guest as well, and obviously that's something that we're trying to develop and go forwards a little bit. I've been a little bit busy with real life commitments to continue doing it weekly, but it's certainly I'm trying to get back up and running. So yes, downforce-radio.co.uk. We are looking to try and push forward this year. We have a show every Monday called Motorsport Monday, which is hosted by my good friend Lester Forbes, and myself and Jake and Lester and everyone else, other members of the team, do host a show called Pitboard, which is a kind of like a very motorsport bantery type program, which is really good. So yeah, downforce-radio.co.uk. Check us out, and TPS will certainly get a bit of an advert in there. We've been talking about to give you guys a bit more publicity. But we are back into qualifying for race number 2, and first few times are coming in, and Andrew Waring currently fastest, but it seems that the THR boys, as we usually see them in flying formation, currently going quicker, and certainly going to go to the top of the times, Ryan, with in just a few moments' time, quite hastily, in fact.
Yeah, then that 24.5 from Andrew Waring is not going to stick. I think probably about 10 people are going to go faster than that, but not least Andrew Waring himself, as Sala goes top with 24.262. Remember, the pole position time was 23.7 in the last race, and last qualifying session, should I say, and it's a 23.991, 23.961 there from Lauritsen. So it's formation flying at the front from THR again.
Yeah, magnificent stuff as they come across the line until Lauritsen quickest from Butcher. So that's incredible how close they are in terms of lap time. They're over a single lap. They were following each other in the slipstream, but only 300ths of a second covering them. As Waring is now up in sector 1, and he's lost a lot of time, as we tends to do in sector 2. Butcher going quicker in sector 1 by about almost 41 thousandths of a second. Jordan Pepper up to 14th so far. But in terms of qualifying going forwards, I mean, these guys in qualifying, it's obviously you've raced a lot in TPS yourself, Ryan. When it comes to picking a moment in qualifying, is it purely just on the situation of what's going on in qualifying? Do you go early? Do you take a late one to get a bit more grip in terms of the rubber? What goes through the mind of a driver in terms of when they're deciding when to go out for a qualifying lap? When do you judge when it's best? What
usually happens is is the qualifying session starts, and all you hear is as everyone goes out of... That was a really good impression, by the way. Everyone goes out of the pit lane, and 20 cars, I kid you not, 20 cars, as Nanan just rolled it, by the way, on the other screen. 20 cars, he's having a terrible afternoon. 20 cars all go out, all at the same time. And why? Within like 20 seconds of each other. And I always sit there with a amused grin on my face. Every single race this happens. And they end up obviously being in each other's way, and I just wait for a minute, and I get a clear run, and then I go out. But most people seem to go out, almost immediately. The best thing to do is to get out first. If you can get out first, that's what everyone's trying to do. If you get out first, then you've got a clear track ahead of you. It's fantastic, and you've got more time to set a lap time also as well. As everyone's gone back into the pits now, not obviously doing fast time. Who's on the lap at the moment? Salo is, so we'll follow him. So get out first, I think, is everyone's idea, but I don't know why everyone decides. Once you miss the first 5 seconds, you're not going to get out first, so you may as well just wait in the pits for so long. But everyone decides to go out at the same time. It's always quite amusing.
Yeah, it's certainly a laugh to watch them go out. And some drivers tend to have a bit of a chuckle when they see drivers getting amongst each other. They effectively sit in the back in the pit lane and say, "No, that's not me," rather than anyone else. But Rasmus Salo, fourth, had unfortunate engine troubles going forwards. But
well, you could say it was his own fault. So
it was his own fault on the downshift. Yeah, putting too many several thousand revs through the more than the rev limiter allowed through the poor little 2-litre turbocharged engine.
Close.
He is close, though. He's off by only about almost 27 thousandths of a second. Personal best at the moment for Matej Orban in 9th, and also Diogo Silva and Kevin Angwin. So they're going to jump up through the order momentarily. But we are focusing on Rasmus Salo. Just pitched it into the long right-hander. It's just tyre smoke comes off these clears is incredible.
It's a problem with the G-motor engine, to be honest. The tyre smoke comes off whenever a wheel goes from the ground. So it's just one of those things where they can't do too much about.
Yeah. So across the line they come, and Rasmus Salo stays 4th, but he has got a little bit closer as Edie's got himself up into 3rd. 1:24.210. We said he was going to be threatening, so all he needs is a good start, and he could potentially get himself up in there to be worrying the THR boys. And he was doing it back in the virtual minis. He was really up there, giving them a bit of trouble, for the most part at least. So he's doing it again, just being the fly in THR's ointment, so to speak.
Yeah, it seems like he's the only driver at the moment who can actually take it to THR currently. So, fingers crossed that he can do that, because we do like to see different teams up there.
Back to the rest of the times, Chris Hack down to 5th, not exactly setting the same pace he was setting in qualifying for the first race, as we just had the 3 minutes left to go. But effectively, he may be getting caught up in traffic, but he's not far off, despite the little wee. So unless he can find a little bit of pace through the S's and through the final corner, he could possibly get himself back in amongst them and into 3rd place to displace Tom Ely. Of course, Ely will still be in and amongst the THR guys. He will be 4th ahead of Rasmus Salo, provided he can get it up. Personal best at the moment for Erzin and also for Rodriguez at the moment in 6th and 7th, so they could potentially move up a little bit and worry the likes of Salo and Ely if they can improve. Across the line it comes Chris Hack. He's not going to... No, he's 1:24.416. He stays in 5th position. But Erzin,
it seems that final sector was very, very tricky. Everybody can do the first sector. Most people can do the second sector, within a couple of tenths. But that's that final sector of flowing the car through the fast chicane and flowing the car through the final corner, which are both fast, 3rd and 4th gear corners, maybe 5th gear actually with the chicane. it just shows how difficult it is to get these cars through there because everybody's struggling through that. Like, look here, Erzen 2/10 down, mistake, and he's going to be, I think, going to be about 4 or 5 or 6/10 down when they come to the final corner. It's quite curious. Only THR seem to be able to figure that final section out.
Absolutely. Just looking forwards now, as Butcher now is on a solid lap. He's up by a tenth, so he could get pole position to go with his race 1 victory. Erzen comes across and goes up to 5th. So he actually displaces Chris Hack, even though he is on a purple sector at the moment. And look at that, he's up by a 10th and a half on Lauritsen already. So Butcher and Hack are both flying in clean air as Lauritsen comes around to chase after him. So as they come down the pit straight, let's see, can Butcher possibly get himself onto pole position with this clean air and with this lap? And the answer is yes, he can, by 0.122 of a second, 1:23.840. Here comes Chris Hack towards down the pit straight as well. He hasn't got the benefit of a toe. What can he do on this lap? He comes across the line and he goes to 2nd. He goes on the front row. So Butcher and Hack both displace Lauritsen, and Hack's gone even quicker in second 2 as well. Salo's on a personal best also. So the THR boys scrapping amongst themselves, whilst Ely just still in there, just being a bit of a thigh in THR's side at the moment in 4th place, and he could possibly improve if he gets a bit of clear track.
A what in their side?
A thorn in their side.
I think you said a thigh in their side.
I'm pretty sure. If I did, I apologise. That's
a crack. I like that one. Oh my God, Salo way off the track. That's not going to help him
I
at
had a
all.
full weekend's contest tested. I'm still trying to get my brain. You would have thought I'd be well prepared, but of course I was rather tired and I fell asleep for quite a while afterwards.
You've forgotten how to speak. No,
I have in some ways. I do that regularly.
I'm joking. So Salo, he looked like he was on a fast lap there, didn't he? But he's made a big mistake. And he's run wide. You would not believe, by the way, how much time you lose by touching the grass at these tracks in these low-power cars. So Salo goes 4th, so he has displaced Tom Ely through there, but he did look like he was on to be a bit quicker than that.
Oscar Hardwick in 6th.
Sector. Yes, he is, and he's gone quicker again in that first sector for him, anyway.
Oscar Hardwick didn't have a fantastic qualifying for race 1, but certainly picked the pace up. Oscar is slowly becoming one of those drivers who you can practically stick him in almost anything, and he will be fairly quick. He's been pretty quick in Porsches, especially in the Porsches, or in Carrera Cup cars, just say. Apologies for that one, Porsche, if you were listening. In the Carrera Cup cars, Hardwick. That's why you were signed, because Hardwick decided to abort his lap and go wide.
Yeah, but it's because it's that hairpin. We see it. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible, Scott. Because you go into that hairpin and it's banked to the inside. Great, but if you miss the banking on the inside, you go wide. Which you go wide. So what? Well, it drags you. You still have to get the power down at some point, and you just understeer straight off. You touch the grass, and the grass just sucks you in like a swamp. It's like a swamp there. It just pulls you into the grass. It takes you ages to get back on the track again, and you've lost like 10 positions by the time you finish messing about.
Rodriguez had to dive up the inside of Chris Butcher, so of course he wasn't particularly. He's on a quick lap at the moment. He's still up there. His checkered flag has fallen. Looking at the rest of the top, then Erzen up in 7th alongside Diogo Silva. Ryan Walker up there as well. Peter Rodriguez still on a personal best, 3/10 off, as someone's thrown it off at the S's. I saw. Couldn't see exactly who that was, but someone has indeed backed it into the tyres right at the edge of the circuit on the exit of the S's, as Rodriguez then heads around the final corner. Still on that personal best, hugging that inside line to get the better drive as he can off onto the pit straight. And can he improve on 10th place? Here he comes down the pit strate.
Oh,
he's aborted it.
It ended.
No,
the second ended.
Oh no! So Pete Rodriguez, that's kind of like when you play FIFA. In effect, you get an attacking move, and all of a sudden the ref blows the whistle. It's kind of like, come on, give over, give me a chance.
Well, the flag had already flown before he finished his first lap, and the reason why the game hadn't progressed actually was because it was waiting for Chris Butcher to finish his flying lap because he'd actually crossed the line. But he was coasting around to the pit lane, and Chris got into the pit lane just as Pipo was coming out the final corner. The game went, well, he's in the pit lane now. End session. And poor Pipo Rodriguez didn't get that final lap in. He looked like he might have improved by a little bit as well.
He may have done. He was on that personal best, so it's a shame we couldn't get it in. But nonetheless, whilst doing warm-up, I may as well give a quick plug. Of course, we are all over social media, as any league, anyone these days in the world of sim racing and life in general.
We're very popular on Facebook as well.
Absolutely, we are very popular. I think we've now got over 1,000 likes on Facebook now.
Over 1,400 likes. Well
1,400.
Yeah, we've passed 1,000 about a year ago now, I think. So, yeah, it's pretty good.
My goodness, we have grown. It's facebook.com/Touring Pro Series. You want to give us a bit of a like and keep up to date with everything that's going on, you can certainly do that on our Facebook page. Also, if you are a bit of a Twitter fiend, then you can tweet us at touring_pro. We're pretty active on there as well. Also, if you want to keep up to date with our website, touringproseries.com, where you can find links for the live broadcast and live timing and all the information, the latest news and articles that are written by some of our fantastic community members. And of course, if you want to keep up with date with every single broadcast, if you miss anything from any broadcast that we do, we upload it back to full to youtube.com/Touring Pro Series. It gets,
and you know how you don't miss out
before.
And you know how you don't miss out on those broadcasts, Scott? You hit the subscribe button.
Absolutely, and it's
hit
free.
The subscribe button.
It takes 2 seconds.
It does indeed.
There's no excuse.
And I do apologise. I did say we had over 400. I meant over 1,200. I don't know where I got 400 from. Over 1,200. 1,257 we have, which is actually a 400% increase in just under a year. So it's pretty good. I mean, it looks like at the moment we are getting to the stage where the saturation of likes on for just it's just all it is a niche product in a niche market. With a niche game, really, not many people in the world, really even use this game. Maybe 10,000 people maybe have bought the game, or one iteration of GameStop car at some point, and people who actually follow leagues, and people who are actually racing leagues also as well, and those people who actually go and click the like button on Facebook. So we are very privileged to have the amount of people on our Facebook that we do, and we're grateful to all of you guys for it's only a click, but it does mean a lot to us. So. Thank you for that.
Yes, indeed. We love each and every one of you that's clicked that like button on the Facebook page. We really do.
Well, we love each and every one of you, even if you haven't.
Absolutely.
We're sharing, caring people.
Yeah, we like to share a love, even if you like us or you don't. So it's that's just how we are at Touring Pro Series.
There are a couple of people on the blacklist, but we shan't go into
yes.
that now, shall we?
No, it's all about being positive and keeping happy times, and positive that we've got the Clios back again, which is great. We're about
let's not talk about Scott's happy times too much.
Hey, come on now, wait.
I just
don't put words in my mouth.
I just turned Scott speechless. That has never happened in the history of Scott Woodwiss. So I feel very proud right now. I think you may be speechless when you told me to do an animal noise that time, didn't you? Oh, that's very true.
I'm not doing it again though. For the record, I'm not doing it again.
What broadcast was that? That was incredible.
Was that was one of the virtual? Wasn't the Supertech series one, wasn't it, or something?
Oh, I can't remember. I think it was Toby's idea actually. So I'm going to blame Toby on that one.
Yeah, just everything. He's not racing or listening anymore. So just blame Toby. Everything now. It works.
Just quickly on that Volkswagen Cup we were talking about. We talked, we blattered about Jordan Pepper being the Volkswagen Cup as well. Lauritsen, we haven't talked about very much. Obviously, we know Lauritsen already. If you're a regular viewer, you know exactly who Lauritsen is. But if you're a new viewer, you're thinking, who the hell is Alexander Lauritsen? What are you saying about him? He's racing the Volkswagen Scirocco R Cup this season also.
Indeed.
Alongside Jordan Pepper. Volkswagen Scirocco R Cup is the undercar to the DTM, which is obviously one of the biggest touring car series in the world. Now, Lauritsen is following in the footsteps of another TPS driver, Kelvin van der Linde, who is a South African, who we talked about briefly earlier, who won the championship last year. And that is the story behind that. So if you're a little bit confused about Volkswagen Scirocco R Cup and South Africans and Danish people and whatever, that's the reasons behind it.
Yes, and of course, as we said, Kelvin van der Linde, I think we're both very jealous of the fact that he's going to continue on to the ADAC GT Masters, gets to be the running wheel of a rather...
team as well. He's alongside René Rast.
Wow, yeah.
And everybody who knows GT racing knows René Rast is probably the quickest GT racer in Germany.
Porsche Super Cup driver at least, because he was phenomenally quick in a Porsche Super Cup car.
Oh, he's incredible. You should have seen him.
Yeah, he was. I've seen him a couple of times when he raced. If anyone didn't catch him, the races will be on YouTube. Search René Rast, see him in Porsche Super Cup. He was, for better use of a word, in many ways, dominance. He was absolutely lethal in a Porsche Super Cup car, and he's taken that forwards at the wheel of an Audi, which effectively Kelvin will also race, and with lucky bugger gets to race an Audi R8 LMS GT3 for the season in the ADAC GT Masters. I think both me and I don't know about you, Ryan, but I'm quite jealous of that. I bet he gets to race one of those because it's quite a tasty machine.
Absolutely, but he fully deserves it, doesn't he, Scott?
He does.
He's worked hard. He's won the Volkswagen Polo Cup in South Africa and won the Volkswagen Scirocco Cup in Germany. And now, of course, he's reaped rewards for that. And he's a thoroughly top bloke as well.
Of course, he has a rich family history in racing. Of course, it's you have to correct me if his dad's name is wrong. Isn't it Sean van der Linde, and of course his younger brother Sheldon also races. Also, but Sheldon's racing TPS, as has Kelvin. And we're very pleased to have both of those guys to have been on our on our records for being TPS, as well as of course Stoffel Van Dorn. I have to say also, could say belated congratulations to him. Of course, his first race in GP2, race winner on his debut in GP2. How about that?
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
It was pretty good. He had a bit of bad fortune in the second race, where he had a bit of a collision and dropped back down to 22nd. But still,
we say bad fortune, but let's not be too kind to him. It was his own fault.
well, whatever. He had.
Sorry, Stoffel.
Of course, Stoffel, the former champion in the American Touring Car Championship, and also in the V8 Supercars, at least a race winner in the V8 Supercars we had, with the virtual V8 Supercars.
An incredible race win, actually. If you want to see a fantastic what TPS is all about race, and you want a bit more of a sample, go to our YouTube page and search for Virtual V8 Supercars 2012 Barbagallo, which is round 2. That was a phenomenal race between Stoffel Van Dorn, Toby Davis, Jesper Tolborg, all the big names were in there. It was fantastic. So that's one of the key ones to check out there. And that's really big names in that also as well. So we're ready for the start here, Scott.
We are. So let's quickly run through the grid then. Obviously, it's a Butcher and Hack on the front row. The grid Butcher on pole position to continue his form from race 1. Then we've got Lauritz and Salo on race 2. So it's red, orange at the front row. Then it's an all puppy racing third row with Ely and Oscar Hardwick, improved qualifying form from race 1. Erzen and Silva on row 4 with Ryan Walker and Peter Rodriguez rounding out the top 10. Andrew Waring and also Mattia Orban on row 6. Jimmy Hughes and Jordan Pepper on row 7. Then Luis Fernandez and Matt Richards on row 8. Robert Powell and Miguel Cardoso on row 9. Then Di Carvalho, Angwint, Sovic, Osserklint, Simmons, Beck. And then the rest of the field, if we can quickly scroll it through, we've got Haxon, Nick Hughes, Andy van der Velde, Demelin, and David Nannon rounding up with 29 cars for another 17 laps of Curitiba. And it's Butcher on the left in pole position, Hack on alongside him on the front row in number 2. All set for the second race of round 1 of the Virtual Clio Series here at Curitiba, waiting for them all to form up. Revs are rise and revs are out, and away we go. Lights are out, I should say. Decent start from the first 2 rows, equal launch. Great start from Lauritz, who's already jumped on Rasmus Salo and perfectly level now with Chris Hack as they come down towards the first corner. And also I can see the 2 puppy racing cars are going to challenge as Lauritz looks to the inside of Butcher, ready into turn 1. And it is going to be THR Reds 1 and 2 with Oranges 3 and 4. And then it's going to be Ely, Hardwick, Erzen's up in there as well. Waring's also slipped back as well. And also there's a big change. Pepper's up to 12th. A great start from Jordan up there to almost crack the top 10. As Erzen's now going to be battling with Diogo Silva over 7th place down towards turn 4. Another clean start, but there's lots of battling up in the midfield, Ryan. But at the moment at least, THR with the advantage once again, as it is Butcher ahead of Lauritz, as it was in race 1.
Yeah, great start there from THR once again. They kept that formation flying 1, 2, 3, 4 for the second race running here. It's really up to the rest of the teams to up their game. GT Competizione, Core Racing and Puppy really have to come strong here. But Ely, remember, he was very strong in race pace last time around, so if he can keep himself up there, he will be in the running, no doubt.
Jordan Pepper a little bit wide, almost braked himself into the hairpin as they head towards the S's. Oh, that's side by side between Waring and Rodriguez. Don't do that could end in tears. Oh, and it has almost ended in tears. Oh my goodness me. That was...
he's off the track as well.
He has gone off the track, rejoins as Ryan Walker dives up the inside, and also Pepper might get himself involved as well. Jordan Pepper, of course, will be used to running front-wheel drives. We said he's racing in the VW Scirocco R Cup this season. Very similar cars to Clio's. They're both turbocharged. Only thing they are lacking is, of course, is a push-the-pass button. But down the pit straight, they come to Butcher, who leads by 0.7 of a second. What an advantage he's got off the start. That's an incredible gap that Butcher's managed to pull off his teammate Lauritz. And then it's Hack third, Salo fourth, and then stops a side-by-side action down towards turn 1 as Walker holds the inside line, but he's under massive attack from Andrew Waring. Big chance by Jordan Pepper. My goodness.
That was, that's a bit of experience.
And Hughes comes through his teammate.
Yeah, a bit of experience there for Jordan Pepper, because you can't really go for a gap there, unfortunately. You just have to slot in behind unless you're already alongside. It's very tempting because it's a bit of a late apex. There's also a little bit of braking involved, but it's not a passing place, really. And many people get caught out by that. And Jordan there, a little bit of an experience, caught out also, losing position as a result. But at least it didn't put off actually there.
Certainly youthful exuberance from Jordan trying to get us a bit of advantage. And again, he's just got a little bit too late in the brakes and just nudges the back of his teammate. I'm sure Javier Cavalli won't appreciate that one. As steady on, boys, the 2 puppy racing guys are going to brave it side by side. It is going to be Ely and Hardwick through the S's, and Ely's got track position, so Hardwick could get through, and that's put him into the clutch for Thomas Erzan, who's forced about the inside, as with the background, I think, is that Diogo Silva going wide it is. It's Peter Rodriguez, in fact, because Walker's back up the inside and into the 9th spot, as Silva is giving these three in front of the hurry up also. So already, the 4 THR guys have run away with the lead so far. Ely leads best of the rest, as Ely and Hardwick are 5th and 6th, then it's Erzan, Silva, Walker up to 9th, and Rodriguez rounding out the top 10 with Waring, Hughes and Pepper all battling it out. Here comes Hardwick. Is he going to think about a dive up the inside? Yes, he might do. Pulling alongside into turn 1, and Erzan might go with him. Goes the back of Waring, gets a little bit gets a little bit sideways. That allows Diogo Silva to close back in. Great battling at the bottom of the top 10. This is exactly the racing we like to see in the Clios, Ryan. Wheel-to-wheel stuff, bit of bumping and barging, but relatively clean for the most part.
I'm surprised, though. I'm very surprised that Hardwick is attacking Ely, or is being allowed to attack Ely, because Ely showed the best pace of the top runners in the second half of the first race. And really, Hardwick should be acting as gunner, I think, for Ely, unless he's confident in the rest of his race pace. But we didn't see that in race 1, so I'm surprised that Puppy Racing will allow this battling to happen, because it's just costing Ely, who now has to, even if he is faster in the second half of the race, he now has that big 4-second gap to make up.
And he said the harder they fight, the easier it's going to be for the guys around to take advantage. We see it time and time again with teammates and with rivals battling amongst each other. It seems to have calmed down a little bit. They're going to go through line astern rather than side by side this time. But it's Hardwick who has the position in front of his teammate right now. Although Ely certainly won't rest on his laurels. They're back to the front. Butcher had about a 7/10 of a second advantage, but right, it's not that now. Lawrence is closed in. I would think he'd make a pass down towards turn 1. He's feeling a bit racy in the early stages.
Yeah, showing great pace in these early stages. We saw this with Chris Dillon in the first race. He held back, didn't quite have the pace in the opening 3 or 4 laps of the first 2, Hack and Lauritsen. He waited and waited and then made his move. Maybe he's doing the same thing again. He's not travelling quite as fast as he can, and this way he saves the tyres. And then Lauritsen will start attacking, wastes his time out of it, and Butcher pulls away. It's all part of the master plan.
Yeah, master plan indeed. And what THR Yellow have already got a response, because Hack's still holding in 3rd, but he's 7/10 off. A further 7/10 off the lead from Chris Butcher, almost a second away. With Rasmus Salo and 4 people. Lost Luis Fernandez for whatever reason, we don't know. But Lauritsen's siding up his teammate down towards the hairpin.
We tried a little switch back there. So a quick replay of that, actually, just as we go back. It's quite a common thing, this one, when people try to get the cut back. They fake the outside, you make the person go inside, and then you dive back to the inside. And Lauritsen decided, it wasn't going to quite work that time around. But that's a tactic used quite often, obviously.
It's what I like to call the invite. It's kind of like just force the guy to go to the inside and grab the racing line on the outside. And that basically means you can get the much better cut back on the exit to grab the position. And I've seen one person seen so many times do it is Lewis Hamilton. He's the master of that from his karting days. And certainly Lauritsen trying to exploit that. But certainly now he's exploiting the toe that he's got from his teammate. And is he going to make a dive? As Butcher did so many times to each other in race 1, he just backed off in the braking zone a little bit to give Butcher a bit of space. Maybe give him a bit of false pretense that he was going to brake a little bit too late. That hasn't happened, as David Nannon has blown his engine. He's out for a 26th position. So the second engine blown of the weekend. The first one, of course, is Rasmus Salo. As now the 2 Puppy Racing cars have switched places again, as Oscar's now back on the inside to make the place. This is the replay then, back down into turn 1. And again, it was a carbon copy. And there was contact between the 2 of them. Now, I think possibly... Now, was that Ely possibly backing up because he thought he couldn't get it stopped? Because Oscar turned in, probably didn't realise that Ely was going to sail up the inside, and there was a bit of a whack into Ely's door. You can see it there. He's almost caved in. Thankfully, that was that's the driver's door, in fact. That would be real life. I think that Ely certainly would have felt that one.
Well, it's I think Hardwick didn't expect Ely to be so slow going into the apex. I think Ely made a mistake under braking. That slowed him up. Hardwick thought that he would arrive a bit quicker than he did, and then he was kind of colliding right at the apex. They really did sort themselves out, these 2 guys here, because they're pulling away from Erzan in behind. He's having a very, very strong run once again, by the way. Very impressed by Erzan early in the season here. Really impressed by his speed. He finished the Virtual Carrera Cup season strongly as well, so maybe not that surprising, but it's nice to see. Ely back down the inside, but these guys are battling just a bit too much for my liking. Look at the front, THR. These 2 guys, they've been line astern. You know, the old throw a blanket saying comes into play quite a few times here, but they've not made any contact. They've not passed each other. Oh, and Lauritsen had a bit of a technical issue there. That's actually dropped a few tenths of a second. That was a little bit weird, wasn't it?
It was, and look at also, but that battling also, look at it. It's actually allowed Hack to just keep within.
He's just
about a second.
Just
he's
there,
just
isn't he?
thereabouts. Yeah, he's keeping in range, and this is exactly what Butcher did. Remember in race 1, didn't he? He was there whilst Hack and Lauritsen were battling. Butcher just sat back and thought, right, you two battle amongst yourselves. I'll save my tyres for a bit, see what happens here, and then make my move a little bit later on. We see Oscar Clint has had a bit of trouble. Missing his front bumper, and that's also so is Miguel Cardozo. So has there been a bit of a coming together between these two, I wonder?
Well, it's a miserable weekend for Miguel Cardozo, really, then, because he had that huge accident we saw in race 1. Not exactly sure what happened. It looked like he went straight into the barriers and destroyed the front end of his car. And now he's had to pit in this race also. So not. Oh, hello.
Showboating.
And that's well, I'm not sure that just completely lost it under braking then. I'm not sure what's happened to Cardozo's car, but it's been a fantastic weekend for Pipo. Well, not fantastic, but a strong weekend from Pipo and Diogo for GT Competizione. But Fernandez and Cardozo a little bit more miserable. So we'll just see how they go from here. Andrew Waring is still stuck back there in 11th spot, by the way, and as Ockerkin comes out of the pits, still looking like Mad Max. Whereas Butcher is now being passed by Lauritsen, surely.
Up the inside, he has a look, but again, Lauritsen did it. Oscar suitably gets out of the way, thinking, I'm having no part of this. Straight across the grass and through he comes, but of course he has to be careful. And what's intriguing is that also whilst this is happening, notice, look at the time, Sala's dropped back into the clutch of Ely and Hardwick. So even though they've battled, Sala's not on the pace of his teammates, and here he comes up. This is top one for Tom Ely, and that car in front is a THR Orange machine, and it is a Rasmus Salo. So Salo not exactly enjoying the same burst of speed that his teammates are getting as Hardwick closes in under braking through the right-hander.
Really using his tyres up, isn't he, badly, Salo? Look at this pace that Ely has got. This is why I said, why on earth are they battling so hard, the two puppy racing guys? Ely's got the better race pace. Hardwick, all he has to do is just follow Ely through the field. And now they've taken an extra couple of laps to pass Salo. They've got a little bit less time. Thankfully, they've got past Salo quickly, but they could have had maybe, 11, 12 laps to make up the gap to the leaders. Instead, they've got 10 laps to make up the gap up to the leaders. Now Ely has to put his foot down and really concentrate, but he's got plenty of clear air in front of him at least.
As Hardwick now looks to make a move on Salo into the final corner. He has got track position. Salo will try and brave it and hold on to the place as much as he can, but he has to succumb.
There's no way around the outside of that final corner. If somebody's on the inside, you lose out pretty much every single time, unless the other person is very, very charitable, and you do not find that very often in Clios.
Oscar Clint decides to exit stage left and said, see you later, boys. As Lauritsen finally gets that move done, he's up the inside. Oh, on two wheels on through turn 2. Butcher had to set on the brakes, and look at this, because Hack's coming back into play as well. Look at this, and once again, Hack is in prime position thinking, I might as well get the popcorn out of this rate. Watch Denise battle again, and there was a bit of contact, there was a bit of rubbing. Butcher's back in front, but there was a bit of rubbing of panels there. That's pretty intriguing to watch that one.
That is interesting. Butcher just chopped the front off Lauritsen there, his teammate, didn't he? A bit of tension, perhaps, in the start.
Well, we've seen it already with the Mercedes guys, thinking they're all kind of friendly and chummy with each other. But looking again, let's have a look if we can. It was a little bit further back, wasn't it? Here we go. Butcher gets in front. He doesn't realise, but look at that. Ooh, just straight in front.
That's a bit of aggressive body language, isn't it?
That's my line, Alex, rather than yours. So I think I'll have that back. And Heck is just sitting back thinking, keep fighting you two, because if you come together, I think I might just take my first race win if you don't mind. Of course, you're bad for the rest of the team, but will benefit me in the long run, that's for sure. Now, Butcher once again...
Sorry, but Ely's gained 0.7 since he passed Salo on the lead.
Advantage to clean air.
Yes, absolutely. He's obviously got great race pace, great tyre life. And let's see what the gap will be as he comes across the line, because that's very intriguing.
We know what that is. That's the lighter weight he's running, because, of course, the THR guys run maximum rate of 60. Of course, whereas Ely running +4, not necessarily a silly weight now, is it? Effectively, seeing the benefits, and that's the increased race pace. So see, even though technically these guys have more power.
Again, they're deep into that, and this is going to cost them all half a second.
Back on the exit,
watch for Ely to be less than 5 seconds as they come across the line, and Lauritsen takes the lead once again. Fantastic stuff, isn't it?
It is. Effectively, that was kind of like a taste of Butcher's own medicine. Literally just chopped straight across and said, well, if you can do it, so can I. And Hack, look how much Hack is staying with them as a result. It's an incredible inter-team battle here. Of course, THR Orange are going to be scoring separate points, but it's all going towards the same pot in many ways. But of course, it's separate points tallied for red and orange. So Hack is scoring. Mac is scoring at the most amount of points. Just getting out, so goes deep.
Very, very deep, and Butcher's right. And there you go. That's it. That's what I talked about.
There he goes.
Right off. Right, thank you very much, Lauritsen, for a good demonstration of what I was talking about there.
And for that analogy.
Yeah, just took them right off the track. Oh dear, never mind. Andrew Waring's back in 9th place.
You've said it now.
Salo's dropped back to 7th now. Yeah, he got me back for earlier. Ely's now 4.7 seconds now, look. It was 5.3 at the start of this lap.
It was, and it looks like it could be even smaller. And this is intriguing because if Lauritsen's sitting now, if Hack's hasn't got the ultimate pace, this is not going to favour Lauritsen because, of course, he has to get back past him right now down the pit straight into turn 1. If he doesn't, he knows that Butcher's going to pull away. But Hack, again, this could be exactly what Butcher did in the first race. He held back, saved his tyres. Here comes Lauritsen diving down the outside.
Yeah,
and that looked a bit too easy.
Yeah.
Looked a bit too easy, that one.
Yeah, Hack let him have that, and he realises that Lauritsen has the pace and has allowed him to continue to battle. Meanwhile, he's gained 0.7 on the leaders in that lap. Continues to do that, then he will be right there at the end of the race. It could be a very, very exciting finish. And Ely does like to get stuck in.
And he seems to be bringing Oscar Harbuck with him, even though he does run a little bit wide on the exit. Now, I can also see behind also that Salo has dropped back to 7th already.
Yes.
And he is now in the clutch. So who's in the clutch right now if you scroll it back round
If
again?
you remember at Silverstone, in these cars, last season, it was race 1, he qualified on pole position, and he finished 17th without getting in any incidents whatsoever.
Yeah, he just
It was
marched his way.
purely on tyre wear.
He just marched his way back towards the rear of the field. And
It was
that
incredible.
Quite disappointing.
It's the worst run I've ever seen from a pole position driver. It really was terrible. I mean, the next race at Snetterton, next event at Snetterton, he took a race win, so he showed he sorted himself out. But he does seem to be a bit prone to that tyre wear.
Seems to be that he's getting used to these brand new weight rules that are coming into play here. As Lauritsen, we can talk about it in a moment, but Lauritsen is certainly giving Butcher the hurry up again.
Lauritsen has the pace, isn't he?
He's literally
made that
pushing
gap
it
up really quickly.
He's literally pushing him down the straight, and I wouldn't surprise if he makes a dive into turn 1 for the lead of the race, because these two have been battling literally. I have a feeling these two, if they're going to run, if THR are going to run away with the championship, these two are going to be the major rivals, as we seem to have in F1 with Mercedes, with Hamilton and Rosberg. This could be our alternative, as again Butcher was a little bit deep. Lauritsen could try and take advantage on the exit to get the switch back. But is Butcher going to leave enough room? He's going to try, but he's not far enough alongside on the exit. But he might have a go in the toe up towards turn number 4. He's certainly there on his rear quarter. If he gets a breaking point wrong, that can tip him round.
Yeah.
Hopefully Lauritsen's smarter than that. Sits back a little bit and allows Butcher the space he needs to remain in front. But ensure getting back if he can up at the hairpin. He's lining him up right here. Could be an opportune place as long as he can keep it on track under braking.
Just a track on Ely, he matched the leader last time around. He didn't gain any time. He's gained a couple of tenths this time around.
Yep, 4.4 is the gap now between Butcher and Ely. And all he needs to do is just keep watching. And it was intriguing also, he has dropped his teammate. So Oscar Harbuck has dropped back a little bit. You see in the background, there's Ely. He really has dropped him by a few seconds at least. So Oscar, initially after their battles, just seems to have dropped off with tyre wear.
Which is why I said, this is why I couldn't understand why they were battling so hard. It really wasn't advisable. I mean, it's great to race so hard, but it's not sensible team play. Exciting stuff, great for us viewers, and keep doing it. But from a team owner or driver point of view, it made no sense whatsoever.
Yep, you can ask that question back in the driver interviews. As here comes Lauritsen finally with a good enough run down the pit straight to make his move. This is going to be again for the lead, and Butcher will certainly be thinking, what on earth do I have to do to get rid of you? And this situation is Lauritsen. Look at that, so much straight line pace he had off the corner. Got it before they got to the braking zone, up the inside and gets track position. And that now puts Hack right onto Butcher's bumper here. As you look at the time once again, it's 4.1 seconds between Lauritsen and Ely. So they continue to battle. So he needs to keep using that clean air to his advantage and hope these guys get tied up with each other a bit more. The gap between Ely and Harbuck is 2.8 seconds, and both of them in turn have dropped Erzen and Waring, and Salo's down to 8th. And if he's not careful, he's only 1.5 seconds away ahead of Ryan Walker. So Ryan could get himself 8th position in the next few laps. There's enough time, he's got enough pace, but there he is in the background, the blue and black machine of Optimum Sim Racer with the orange stripes. Fantastic looking car, in fact, in car 95. Great shade of blue on that car. And on the background, that's Silver passed by Mattia Orban into turn 4. So switch between them with Peter Rodriguez back in 12th. Again, not as impressive as he was in race 1.
No, they're going backwards, aren't they? They qualified up there, but not going forward at the moment. Ely is still 4.1 seconds.
Always
Orban
gone
goes
deep.
far too deep. This is Orban's first event in the Clios, by the way, in his TPS career. Following on from his first front-wheel drive action in the Minis. He's enjoyed it immensely. Looks like he's really, really enjoyed it. He's a fantastic racer, a great guy from Hungary. Oh,
hold your breath.
That was so close to being a big accident. See the big bump on the inside of that fast. What is that? Left-hander. On the inside there, on the entry to those S's. Oh, and Silver on the brakes again, sideways. And he just clipped the curb and he just flicks your car up in the air. So that was Matthew Orban. It's so dangerous.
Really is. And Orban now gets the run he wanted off of the S's. In fact, he ducks back in, gets a bit more slipstream, and when he try again, they're getting very defensive. And also, Rodriguez wants to fight as well. Look at this, there could be also possibly 3 wide. It's Orban and Rodriguez side by side. Rodriguez trying to get the move done. Cannot get it stopped just by his teammate. He's almost boxed in. Orban's got nowhere to go, has to yield it. They're still side by side, and Rodriguez gets track position through turn 3. That was gutsy stuff from Rodriguez to get the toe and just force the issue down the inside, but he's getting a taste of his own medicine because here comes Orban off the exit of turn 3. But Rodriguez has got a bit more straight line speed. That's
he's got that.
And behind, look behind. That's Jimmy Hughes and Carvalho going side by side. So, in fact, his Peppers dropped back to 15th also. So the 3 Mad Cape guys are in a massive scrap between themselves as well. So there's inter-team battles all the way down the field, Brian. It seems to be a recurring thing in this race.
And Orban looking very racy indeed. He's got 30 less kilos on board, and that's really telling, I feel, in the second half of this race. With these guys, and Silver, compromising. I'm sorry, man, I just understeered. I didn't mean to. And straight through.
And also, just I noticed...
look at the speed Orban's got. Unbelievable. He would have taken himself by surprise there.
Trying to run wide, he's getting...
Scary.
Getting a better run this time, and Orban again gets himself in front. And also, whilst I was talking, I did notice Ryan Walker has caught and passed Rasmus Sala. So Rasmus Sala down to 9th now. So really not on the pace. And so you go back towards the front, and again they're still going at it, and the gap's now 3.4 seconds between Ely and Lauritsen. He continues to close in, and Hat's looking pretty racing now. His possibly fresher tyres.
I think they've done the sensible thing though. And Butcher hasn't really attacked Lauritsen ever since Lauritsen passed him, realising that they cannot afford to give up any ground to Tom Ely in the second half of this race because he's looking really good. And more story on that puppy racing. Gossip, by the way, Scott. Oscar had a big falling out after race 1 with his teammates apparently.
Oh dear.
That could be a clue as to why he was battling Ely.
Butcher, no, what's happened?
Going straight off the track at the hairpin move that I was talking about, and that's costing the position. The THR have been so generous with demonstrating how good I am at this commentary lark. But apparently Hardwick has had a big falling out. That could be why he was battling Tom Ely so hard in the early stages of race 2.
Ryan Callan always wanted to blow his own trumpet there. Anyway.
I couldn't even get the words out to say what I was good at. That's how terrible I was at that bit.
Yeah, sure, you were joking. Anyway. It's always fun when me and Ryan commentate together. It's always good banter anyway. Now, back to his battle for 4th. There's Oscar Hardwick, and it's quite intriguing because, of course, that's not going to bode well for the rest of the season. If Tom and Oscar fall on out.
Weren't we? And it's come to bear fruit in that first race. How we were talking about it.
And when you get that kind of situation, I'm not sure if you've ever had that sort of team situation, right? But when you get that between drivers, especially at the beginning of the season, I mean, what kind of dynamics is that going to set up for the rest of the season? Because effectively, it's going to be chaotic.
I mean, it's almost a brand new team as well. You know, Racing is pretty much a brand new team, and they're not a close knit unit. So any sort of falling out, people go, well, I'll just leave them, and that could be the end of the team. It literally can be as close as that. I mean, look at Precision. That was a big team, and Simon Kilo and Lasse Sorensen worked their magic, and they ended up splitting the Touring Car Division team up because of the inter-team and the acidity levels in the team gets too high, and you can't cope with it, and people just go, well, you know what, I'm not paid for this, you know, and I'll just leave.
And especially because it's a new team, effectively, if they want to succeed...
Even more of a danger.
Exactly, and if they want to try and succeed and go forwards to the rest of the season to mount a strong enough challenge, I don't know about you, but if I was a team boss, I'd be sorting this out double time, because I would not want these two guys falling out at the start of the season and ruining the team's chances of getting a decent finish in the standings by come the end of the year.
Absolutely, and they had some difficulties in the VMC race as well. Also, they could have been a lot quicker. So there's a few issues to be ironed out. We've got plenty of promise. We just need to work a little bit harder on being a little more together and on obviously getting good results as well at the same time, which is always nice.
Communication skills is what they need to work on.
Yes, well, perhaps that's the case, and maybe a little bit more team building. A bit more practicing together, a bit more of the bonding. Orban's gone past Salo, by the way, so that's Salo back to 10th now, after qualifying 3rd.
Yeah, and I think the next man...
he was 4th, I do apologise.
And of course, the next two cars to pass him possibly, unless if I can't think Rasmussen's tyres have gone that far off to be caught by both Pipo Rodriguez and Diego Silva.
Well,
although
I think Rodriguez and Silva themselves are having problems with their tyres. Their battle with Orban, they pretty much showed that. Look, he's pulled away by 4 seconds now as well after that.
Yeah.
He's lost the headlight cover as well as Orban off that left.
Oh, did he have?
Left, yeah. So you can just see that it's a bit darker rather than shiny on that side. So he's dropped that somewhere. Though those can cause punches, by the way, those headlight covers. So when you're racing around, you do actually have to just keep a little bit of an eye out for that sort of thing.
Now, was that Rodriguez going wide off the exit because his teammates dropped back slightly? I'm pretty sure I saw, unless that was lag.
I think it looks
It
pretty much the same, doesn't it? So
yeah, if I wasn't mistaken, I'm pretty sure I saw one of the cars on the exit of the corner.
Here is race 1 revisited. Waring versus Erzen. A difference has been that Waring now has a 14-metre front bumper.
Yes.
And he's actually come through the field instead of going backwards this time round.
He has indeed. So we're across the final lap, and Waring's just can't get stopped under braking. I think too much rear bias on that Clio to get it stopped, but he is going to hunt him down for the remainder of the lap. Meanwhile, of course, our leaders are on the final lap, and it's intriguing that Butcher just couldn't push forwards the way he could, but Lautzen looks like he's on course to potentially go ahead and take the victory he may have felt he should have got in race 1. Of course, it was very close between the two of them, but he had to sit back and be second best for that one. Bit of lap traffic in front, but he shouldn't be too much of a bother as they come through. But look how much Edie's closed. Edie's closed right up as there's a wounded Clio in front, but I think he's going to close, but it's going to be too late.
Those 2 seconds he lost battling with Hardwick, maybe 3 seconds. Look, I mean, I couldn't ask for a more graphic illustration of you have to work together as a team. You have to put your team ahead of each other. And THR did that. They didn't battle very much early on. They battled when they had a bit of a gap. And then when they saw that Edie was getting close, that Lautzen clearly had the speed, Butcher didn't battle him back. Lautzen gone as well to take the win.
Butcher took advantage of race 1. Lautzen strikes back in race 2. He takes victory from Chris Hack in second with a much-deserved podium for him. And it's Chris Butcher in third from pole position. And Edie closed in to just 0.8 of a second. It could have been so much more had he not battled with Oscar Hardwick. And of course, that's a story, of course, apart from THR, that's going to rumble on for the rest of the season. What on earth is going on at Puppy Racing, and what has caused such a fallout between the two of them? Andrew Waring did get Thomas Erzen in the end. It's going to be Puppy Racing 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. Great result for them on their first proper weekend in the Clios. Thomas Erzen was 7th. Ryan Walker should be very pleased with 8th in the Clios and his blue machines that come to his shot right now. Teammate Matty Orban had enough pace in the second half of the race to grab 9th. And Rasmus Salo, despite qualifying 4th, has to settle for a top 10 finish, and he should be very disappointed with that. I'm sure THR will, because they expected more of him this weekend after that qualifying performance. Pipo Rodriguez 11th. What happened to Diego Silva? Because Javi de Carvalho's come through showing in 12th. Silva's 13th, with Jimmy Hughes 14th.
A couple of good results there for Xavier de Carvalho as well, so he'll be pleased with that.
Yeah, especially when you said to me in the message that he actually he cocked it up in this qualifying, had to make a last-minute setup change. Seems to have worked, because it was 12th. It was a top 10 finish for him in race 1, and 12th in race 2, so good job for Javier to get the points that he needed. Also, there's 2 cars shoes off in the background. That must be Miguel Cardozo, I think. If it's not, if it's somebody else.
Well, he'll be in trouble. He'll be in trouble, whoever it is. Never mind.
Yeah, of course. Ryan with the TPS admin. I'm sure there'll be many slapping of wrists. I think for many people if they're up to any antics post race. The rest of the top 20. Then we've got Kevin Anglin 15th, Jordan Pepper his first weekend 16th, very respectable. 17th and 16th for him, so he should be very pleased with that. He can develop from there for Mad Kate Purple. Then Robert Powell, Daniel Beck, Scott Sovic, and Andy Van der Velde rounding out the top 20. We'll get more reaction. We'll get a bit of talking about race 2, and of course get reaction from the drivers in a couple of minutes. Stay with us, and we're back in a few minutes after Worthmar, good friends at Inside Sim Racing. Back in 2.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
So, welcome back to the post-race interviews and post-race banter, shall we say, for the first round of the newest season for the Virtual Clio Series here at Touring Pro Series. Two fantastic races that saw THR round out the podium in both, and we're going to start off our post-race interviews with the man that got second in race 1 and a victory in race 2 is Alexander Lauritsen. Alex, very decent start to the season. You said you performed with the race, you were very confident in your pace. Seemed to have backed it up, second in race 1 and winning race 2. Fantastic start to the season. You certainly were confident, weren't you? You were certainly very confident in that you were going to be a championship contender. I think this weekend starting off has certainly verified that.
Yeah, I hope so.
Excellent. So, obviously, both races you were battling very hard with your teammate, of course, Chris Butcher. It seemed to be a very hard fight between the two of you, but very good natured and very fair at the same time. Just how do you see it from your point of view?
Yeah, we had a great race in race 1, and we also don't fight on the first lap, so we can get a big gap, and on the last lap we fight a little bit, and it was totally fair. So it was a nice battle with him, and it was great.
And of course, we can talk briefly about the fact that you're going to be have real racing commitments this season as well. You're going to be in the Shirakawa Cup along with Jordan Pepper as well, and of course, following the footsteps of Kelvin Mandelinda. Tell us about how your preparation's gone over the winter for that, and what we can expect, and what you're hoping for this season on the real race circuits rather than the virtual ones. Yeah,
it's good to practice a little bit sim racing because here in Denmark we don't have the money to drive so many practice laps in cars, so it's good practice to drive a little bit sim racing and then do a little bit fitness. And it will be my first year in cars, so it will be a hard year, but I will do my best and see what the results will be in the end. So I hope for the best.
We wish you all the best, of course. Very best of luck both in Scirocco's and for the season, of course. You've certainly shown the pace to be a championship contender. Of course, you've won the championship once already in TPS. There's no reason why you can't do it again. So, second in race 1, first in race 2. Well done, Alex. Great job.
Thank you.
Best of luck for the next round.
Thank you very much.
Now, Ryan, I believe you got the other man that was took a race victory today and just missed out in third in race 2. It's Chris Butcher. Ryan.
Yeah, thank you, Scott, and congratulations to Alex there on his race 2 win. Congratulations also to Chris Butcher on the first race win in the Virtual Clio Series 2014. Talk us through your preparations for this event, Chris, because it's been a little bit more successful than perhaps the opening race in the minis at this particular track.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, the minis I prepared for more. I did a lot more practice. Yesterday I had my pedals and bits cleaning them because I had a throttle issue. That was the reason I had a lack of pace in the minis, but I got it resolved. I've been practicing all this morning and I thought I was a little bit off the pace, to be honest with you. I had a little bit of a break, came back for the qualifying session, and I was right on the money.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. I mean, you obviously battled with Alex, pretty fairly there also as well. Did at any point get heated, or were you all pretty good natured?
Nah, it was all good fun, to be honest. There was no arguments in TeamSpeak or anything like that. It was just nice and chilled out.
It's not like you guys. So you in the race 2, you saw that Ely. You must have observed that Ely had plenty of pace in the second half of the race. Once Lauritsen got ahead of you for the final time, was it a conscious decision as a team not to attack Lauritsen at that point, because he clearly had a little bit more pace at that stage, and not allowed Tom get back there?
We didn't really talk about it, to be honest with you. It just sort of happened. I made that mistake, and Chris got through, and I had just ruined my tyres leading for too long, actually. I think what helped the battle in race 1 was the fact that the lead kept changing, and there's a bit more grip in the slipstream, so you don't ruin your tyres as much. But because I've been at the front of the race for a long time, I just didn't have the tyres to compete, so I didn't want to overdrive the car and just settle for third, really. But yeah, there's no discussion about it. It's just how it unfolded, really.
Just felt like that. I mean, how is the tyre wear in these cars at the moment?
Awful.
Well, there you go. That's nice and succinct there from Chris Butcher. Good luck in the rest of the season. Good luck also as well, obviously, in the Virtual Mini Challenge as well. We're looking forward to seeing how you guys go there. Scott's now got the other driver who was in the top 3 in that race, and that was Chris Hack.
Absolutely. Chris, fantastic stuff for you in your first weekend for THR. Starting off with a pole position. Where did that come from, chap? Fantastic stuff. Well done, your first pole position. Took a while, but you finally got it.
Only, I don't know how many races, but a lot. Normally I'm a better racer than qualifier, but it seemed the other way around today.
Excellent stuff. And of course, then in race 1, you led for the first part, and of course, then both your teammates got through. Now, in terms of your pace overall today, I mean, you didn't seem to have the ultimate pace compared to your teammates. Now, was that due to tyre wear? Was that the extra weight? Was that just setup? What was it that just didn't seem to enable you to take your first victory on the back of your first pole position today?
Well, they're both pretty fast drivers, so it was never going to be easy. Race 1, I destroyed my tyres just in the first 4 or so laps that I was in the lead, and then had nothing. So it was all I could do to limp home. I didn't want to stay too close behind them either, because I was having lockups everywhere. I didn't want to run out the back of either of them. But race 2, my tyre wear was okay, so I learnt.
Absolutely. Now, of course, you've joined THR, of course, in the off-season. We talk about it briefly in the broadcast, but how much has that helped you to develop as a driver? Obviously, coming from core across the THR. I mean, we've certainly noticed a noticeable difference in your pace. So it's been fantastic to see. But how has it been? How have you found it from your point of view?
Well, it went well today. I wouldn't say we prepared any more than I have done previous seasons with core. Probably less actually, because we were quite late. I think we did most of our stuff today, but yeah, I think it'll go well. There were more setup sharing was than normal, but I think we ended up on one of mine anyway, which is never a good thing, but it seemed to work. So.
Well, I'm sure it's not be long until you take your first win, especially with THR with the pace you've shown this weekend. Well done on 3rd and 2nd, and fingers crossed you can build on that for the rest of the season.
Yes.
Now, I believe you got the man, Ryan. You got the man who, excuse the pun, was top dog. It seemed at a puppy racing this weekend.
Oh, I like that, Scott.
Was
Gold star for you.
It was up there. I had to use it. It appeared to be in terms of pace wise was Tom Ely. I believe you've got him with you right now, Ryan.
I have, and Tom, you look to be the best of the rest. It seems here today. You didn't quite have the ultimate pace. Was that down to the lighter car, or just not quite in the groove?
Yeah, we knew the lighter car it lost a few attempts to the heavier car in qualifying and the first few laps of the race, but the tyre wear just seemed like just a massive advantage, so we decided to go for the lighter car.
Now, in the first race, you came in that 4th position. You came 4th position in the second race also as well. We talked about it in the broadcast. You had a very heated battle with Hardwick in race 2, and we felt that was not exactly conducive to the fact that you showed good pace in the second half of race 1, therefore we'll probably do it in race 2, and therefore could catch THR guys, and it cost you a few seconds, and you lost out the race by a few seconds. What were your thoughts on that?
We were just having a bit of fun. We were having a laugh about it and saying, oh, you pass here, and then I'll overtake here. Having a bit of fun with it, and then all of a sudden THR were 5 seconds up the road, so a lot of catching up to do then.
Is that something you'll not look to do later in the season then? You'll look more to be a bit more strategic as a team in the opening lap, sorry, should I say?
Maybe, yeah. Knowing like how much pace we've got the second half of the race, then I think we need to work it out strategy-wise. Yeah,
it seems to be the case. Obviously, with being open in a few laps and losing time, you're going to try and minimise that time and maximise, obviously, later in the race. Congratulations for your 2 4th places today. I mean, that's obviously set you up well going forward, and obviously the tyre wear looks like it to be very, very good as well. I'm pretty sure that the next track on the calendar in 2 weeks older is pretty hard on the tyres. So looking forward to seeing how you go there also as well. Scott, you've got, I do apologise, I did tell him you've got next. You've got Jordan Pepper to speak to, of course. It's a privilege to speak to him. Scott?
It would help if I muted my microphone to not have any background noise, so apologies for that one. Yes, of course, we're very privileged to have Jordan Pepper in the championship. Of course, he was the champion of the junior category for these VW Scirocco R Cup and 3rd overall. Jordan, your first weekend in the TPS. Just tell us how you found it from your point of view, because you've had a couple of steady drives, bit of battling. Seems to have all gone well for your first weekend. Tell us how it went.
Yeah, I guess battled a bit with setup in qualifying to maximise it. So first qualifying was my mistake, starting from the back. I didn't find it easy. We had the pace, I found, at the end of the race, but at the beginning of the race, because we were on the lighter car, people were just passing and crashing into you. So a bit tough. I realised that it's all up to qualifying if you want a good race. So you have to burn your tires. Even though we had the lighter car at the beginning of the race, we had to burn our tires too early, and then by the end of the race, we couldn't capitalize as much. Race 2 went a bit better, but I tried something on the setup which didn't help. So we'll look at it for the next race, and hopefully we can be up there.
Now, of course, you've had a lot of experience driving the Scirocco R Cup car. Of course, you've now had a chance to drive, virtually at least, the Clio Cup car. From what you've been able to judge, even though it is a sim racing versus a real race car, are there any similarities? Are there any major differences between the Clio and the Scirocco that you've been able to figure out so far?
Well, yeah, actually, I found it quite hard. The first time I jumped on back from the Scirocco after the testing was 5 minutes before qualifying. So pretty much put it. I couldn't get it proper. I couldn't get like a proper feeling for the car. But I think the front wheel drive gives a good similarity, and it helps. Like Alexander said, there's not much testing we can do with the Scirocco, so it helps with the sim. I find it just keeps you active, and it's good comparison. The tire wear is realistic, so it's good driving comparison.
Now, of course, going forward to the rest of this championship, of course, I mean, obviously there's still a lot more to come from the car, I think, and from yourself in terms of skill. So what would you be satisfied with in terms of progression going forwards into the next few races of the championship in terms of pace and setup? What would you be satisfied with, as an aim for this championship?
Yeah, I think I need to put a bit more effort into preparing before the race. We did a good job as a team to get set up a couple weeks ago, but I don't know. I took it upon myself to change it for the race weekend, which didn't work out. But I think if I can get a top 10 at Zolder, and then from there work to a top 5, and maybe we can work at catching the THR boys who are very quick. So I think it's a long progression, getting used to the game and stuff, and TPS. But I'm enjoying the experience so far, and hopefully next round we can get a bit better qualifying and a good race.
We certainly hope so, and we're very privileged and very happy that you're here with us at TPS Racing. So, of course, we wish you best of luck for the rest of the season, and, of course, for your exploits in the Scirocco car up this season. Hopefully, you'll be able to follow in the footsteps of Callan and knock him dead this season. So, for both championships, best of luck, and it's wonderful to have you here at TPS, Jordan.
Thank you very much. It was a good weekend, and well done to all the other Oaks who won.
He's courteous as well, isn't that fantastic? As I say, such a nice boy we have in the championship. Fantastic stuff. And Ryan, I think that you've got to finish off. I think you've got a man who was up and down the grid today, but in his first Clio Championship race, Matty Orban. Not too bad a weekend for him either.
Yeah, Mate, we don't get a chance to speak to Mate too much, so I thought we'd speak to him, especially after he's experienced his first front-wheel drive racing experience in sim racing. Mate, how did you find it? You look like you were having plenty of fun out there.
Yeah, I have plenty of fun. My quali pace wasn't the best, but the race pace looked quite good, especially on the last stint of both races.
Yeah, your car looked like it was really good in the second half of the races. Is that down to the fact you had a slightly lighter car than other guys around, or maybe your driving style?
Maybe because my driving style, maybe because the smaller negative camber on the front wheels, and maybe because the other guys had major damage on the front suspension, and I had bigger damage on the rear of the car in the first race.
Oh, I see. Yes, so we got involved in a few heated battles there as well. We saw that also. I mean, you've been part of Optimum now for a few months. How have you found it? You seem to have enjoyed yourself there, really.
Yes, the guys are very helpful, especially Ryan and Jonathan, but all of them are very good guys. I think we have the pace, especially for the middle pack, maybe for the top, and we always help each other with good setups and other things to get better. I think the team and this season will be pretty good for us.
Excellent stuff. So obviously you're going to learn more and more as you go throughout the season in these front-wheel drive cars as well. So good luck for the rest of that season. And just before Scott closes up for us, I just want to wish Alexander Lauritsen and Jordan Pepper good luck in the 2014 Volkswagen Scirocco R Cup Championship. Hopefully one of you wins. Maybe you share the wins and tie for the championship. that's good. That sounds good, doesn't it, Scott?
It does. It's nice and fair. So we've got two more prestigious winners that we can add to our ranks that have raced the TPS and also been successful in real motorsport. Be fantastic. Before we do close up and give a quick plug to our social medias, let's just obviously, Ron, I just want to get some thoughts on you on the whole weekend. I mean, obviously, based on what we've seen from the two races, what do you think we've learned from these new Clios on game stock car? We've certainly seen THR once again. The force which they used to be before the likes of Precision and Ice Cold came along. Puppy Racing, great start for them also. Also, teams to watch include also Optima, quite strong. GT Competizione as well. Madcaper got some good one in there. A lot of talented drivers down the field. So I think once they start to get to grips with things, THR may have to look behind them because there's some competent guys out there and they can certainly close the gap.
I feel, I see a little bit of promise in GT Competizione. I see plenty of promise in Puppy also as well. If they can just minimise the opening race loss that they've clearly got at the moment and maybe get a little bit closer in qualifying, maybe nick a couple of places here and there with the lighter car, which can be a little bit difficult. So that's going to be very intriguing. The big issue is tyre wear. Tyre wear is crucial at the moment. That's the lesson we've learned from today's tyres. After the non-issue of the Puppy Racing, apparently hardweight bust-up that we talked about, there was non-issue apparently, or Tommy Lee dealt with that very, very well. Either way, we'll look out for that for the rest of the season. But some promising, Mad Cape promising also as well. They went strongly in VMC, and I feel they'll only get quicker as they get more experience in these Clios also as well. So there's plenty of intriguing stories going ahead in the season.
One final thought. Driver of the weekend, who do you give it to?
Oh, I'll have
You put you on the spot now, haven't I?
I'll have to go with Alex, the first and the second in that in those races, taking the Championship League, because of course Chris got a first and a third, and Alex didn't make a mistake, not a sizable mistake anyway, and Chris made that mistake running wide at the hairpin, so that just drags it away from Chris and gives it to Alex for me.
I think I'm also going to give mine. It'd be a small mention to Tom Ely. Good pace from him, showing to close the gap in. Despite the fight he had in race 2, I think Tom has shown some great pace and some. It seems to be the Tom Ely of old. I think is coming through. Certainly some flashes of brilliance coming back for Puppy Racing. I think it's only up and forwards for them. So going forwards, then the next time you'll be able to see some TPS action is we now move from South America to our first European round of a championship. We head across to Zolder in Belgium, I believe, Ryan. We've got a night race on our hands for both.
We
This
do
should be
indeed have
fantastic.
a night race on our hands, and it is gorgeous at night time. This track, it looks beautiful. I mean, that's nothing to do with me, complete accident, but it looks really, really good. And that's going. And it's the first, sorry, I muted myself there. It's the first time that Zolder has been using the TPS Championship as well, so it should be a really good race.
It's a very tricky circuit, isn't it? Lots of straights, but lots of very big breakers. There's some very tight, winding chicanes. This is going to put a huge test on brakes for these guys, isn't it?
It is. I mean, we saw in the Clios, they can get very out of shape under braking. There's plenty of spots of braking at Zolder. There's also plenty of chicanes, plenty of changes of direction. So once you've got the tyre wear coming into play, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare getting through there.
Certainly is. Well, April the 29th, which is next Tuesday, when we'll see the Minis back in action for their second round. And, of course, we'll stay at Zolder for May the 5th, which is the following Monday, where we get to see the Clios back in action once again. But that pretty much wraps up our coverage of the opening round of the Virtual Clio Series. It's wins apiece for Chris Butcher and for Alexander Lauritsen. THR seems to be back as a dominant force, but they've got some other teams certainly hot on their heels, the likes of Puppy Racing and GT Competizione and Mad Cape and also, of course, Optimum Sim Racing, all looking very racy indeed, wanting to try and hunt them down. For myself, Scott Woodwiss, and for Ryan Callan, we thank you very much for watching. If you want to keep track of with everything that we've done, of course, on social media, facebook.com/Touring Pro Series, Twitter @Touring_Pro. Also, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel to catch all this live broadcast, including this one, back in full, youtube.com/Touring Pro Series, and of course the website, touringproseries.com for all the information, including live timing and broadcasts. But until next time, we'll see you back in Zolder. But until then, THR have the advantage. Will it stay that way? We'll find out in a couple of weeks. Bye for now.